of Jacksonville Pool. All right, what is up, everyone? Tim Jones here on behalf of Jacksonville APA, the home to the voice of Jacksonville Pool. Welcome back to the semifinals of the 2025 World Qualifiers here, 8-ball edition. Mr. Mike Gammons Jr. here is going to be joining me here. How you doing, sir?
Pretty good, sir, and yourself?
Good, good. You good with Mike, by the way?
Yes,
I don't remember if I asked you that last time here.
Mike.
Fair, we're going to get that a little closer as best we can. You may have to push this forward just a tiny bit. Maybe, hopefully it's not too uncomfortable.
There we go.
There you go. Talk to me. Yep, got you now. A little clearer there. Well, good, sir. How's your day been?
Well, as well as can be expected. We're here.
Yes,
We're
sir.
enjoying ourselves.
Good, man. I got to give you a shout-out, guys. For those who don't realize who this voice is behind me, if you watched any bit of the live stream a little bit ago here, you'll know exactly who this is. And this is the wonderful gentleman that was dancing, jumping, and having a heckin' good time here during his matchup just a little while ago, and showing a lot of love, a lot of great sportsmanship. I called out your team probably no less than a dozen times, and I still may be under-exaggerating for the great level of sportsmanship. We talked about it on stream a lot of, like, yeah, I like it whenever, some people prefer to pick up and hand the cue ball over. Some people prefer to, like, slide it or tap it. But no matter what, when you're the one that sees the foul and you go ahead and, like, acknowledge said fouls in place.
Right.
Again, I'm not picky about, like, whether you're sliding the cue ball to me or handing it to me. I don't tomato. But when you're the one that acknowledges the foul and somebody doesn't have to be like, hey, is it? Like, I'm looking at you, is it ball in hand? Like, doing that, like, little motion. I think that's always one of the best things ever. Plus, I enjoyed the crap out of your attitude, Mike. that was, I mean, it was very a lot of fun. I'm not saying people have negative attitudes, but your attitude was extremely positive, to say the least.
Well,
so.
I try to coach, extreme good sportsmanship. And at the end of the day, APA is for fun. We are all out here to meet new people, maybe become better pool players, and take that chance to go into Vegas and enjoying ourselves playing what I love as a sport, because I'm getting older and fatter and I can't, go play football or baseball no more.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Well, let's see who they are putting up. Now, I forgot. I don't remember if I went and talked to the team here. Give me 1 second. Hey, Hogan Hain. Will one of y'all let me know who's being thrown and stuff and who threw first? Elliot. Christian name. Who was thrown? Oh, dear Jesus. Who was thrown first? Oh, my Lanta. Okay. All right. I'm in a little shock and awe here. Elliott was thrown first for team day one-ish, which is still right in range of a normal, typical throw, skill 05 here. And I'm fixing to blow your guys' mind as for who was thrown against him. Keep in mind, day one-ish threw first. Mike, you heard what I heard, right? You heard who Elliott's opponent is?
I'm not sure that I know that person.
Oh, man. Well, it's Christian Daniels, and he's a skill level 7. Elliott's a skill level 5, so automatically we're fixing to have a 5-3 race on our hands. Wow. This is a extremely uncommon throw. A skill level 5, and automatically Christian Daniels comes out the table swinging immediately right off the bat. Both are captains of the team. This is I'm in shock. I'll be honest with you. There's not a chance in this world that you could have given me probably 8 guesses to say who could have been thrown first on both sides, and I don't think I ever would have picked this option.
Well, I know that during my match, I tried to draw their 7 out and ended up with another 5. I tried to use myself as bait to pull the 7 out, which ended up with Christian Hubbard's game going against their captain.
Yep.
But me personally, I don't think I would have thrown my 7 out against a 5 right that quick.
Yeah. It'd be different if Christian was thrown first and day one-ish chose the 5. I like that matchup. That's day one-ish playing very smart. Cutting. We talk about it all the time. Them 7s seem to hate the 7-5 lineups here because it's a 5-3 race, and it's 5s can be dangerous. It takes just a somewhat okay run. It doesn't have to be. It just doesn't have to be anything too complicated, but an okay run and a 5 will run 5 balls on the table. Like it's not unexpected. Like you for sure. There's a couple shots that, dude, man, there was one you drained all the way to the top left take corner pocket.
You're talking about the 9-ball shot?
Yeah, dude.
Me and Omar was talking about it afterwards. He goes, I don't think this guy's a 5.
Yeah.
But
oh, yeah.
like I told him, you just said it. Sometimes you can get that 5 that just sees something that normally isn't seen, and he makes some incredible shots to make that good run.
Yeah, 100%, man. You did that too, brother. It was great to see on stream, to say the least. It was really, really fun. So, yeah, oh my indeed, Kit. Welcome to the live stream here. Wayne Kelly, how's it going, brother? Glad you're here as well. Mr. Mike Gaines Jr. here joining us on the live stream with commentary this time around. Appreciate you, by the way. It's like I always tell Mike Kelly too, like the first, like longer stream, not too big a deal. Second one, I'm okay at. You getting to that tail end of that second one, they're like, I'm starting to drain a little bit from energy, because you're talking about like it could be like 10 hours, streaming at that point. You're like, my energy's dwindling. So, jet ski over there on the YouTube side said that man's car's been here all week. I think he's got it. He's talking about Christian Daniels. That's funny. We always love making that joke, but I will say Christian Daniels is the type of guy that no matter what, he never risks the biscuit when it comes to driving home here. He will call Uber so fast.
I don't blame him there.
No,
I have a standing rule in my team. If you've had, too much to drink, tell me, I'll drive you home.
Yeah, 100%. No need to risk it, man. We want to be known as a fun pool hall, not the pool hall that people are living life dangerously. So
exactly.
Yeah. So I'm just shocked. I'm really surprised, guys. There's more of y'all tuning in and coming into the stream here. You're going to hear me on repeat probably for the first couple racks here. But, yes, you are seeing Christian Daniels thrown in the first match against Elliott. Elliott was thrown first. Christian's Angels and Christian himself determined to throw himself as the 7 versus Elliott as the 5, which, again, is wild. Now, with that being said, Mr. Dustin Brinkman and Mr. Jules Rivera Jr. are still both skill level 7s on team day 1-ish, in which they cannot throw both, but they can still throw 7-5-5 and go from there. So they can do 7-5-5, 3-3 for day 1-ish here. Christian's Angels, both him and Mr. Hokenhain is on there, and they actually can run 7-7-3-3-3, which is, that's a big lineup. That's a really, really big lineup. Wow. You got Heather McClure, Machina, and John on there that are their 3s. In fact, that's mostly how they've been throwing their lineup. There's one time when Danica's played through this so far. Sorry here, I'm kind of gatekeeping the phone here. But, yeah, Danica's played 1 match, but Christian's played 2, Logan's played 2, Heather's played 2, John Barr's played 2. So, yeah, their main lineup is that 7-7-3-3-3, which I don't know about you, but I favor that lineup a lot. I mean, you got Christian Daniel and Logan Lane on your team. That's strong.
It was actually a nice shot and a nice leave here.
Yeah.
I just don't like where that 8's sitting right now.
Yeah, tell me about it. JT on the YouTube side saying that boy good, and Kit saying Christian Daniels is protecting the rest of their players from Elliott. Even if Mr. Daniels loses, I'm betting he gets at least to the hill. Excited to watch this. I respect both players. Ain't that the truth? Should be a good one. I do agree. It would not shock and awe me that it goes hill. However, I wonder if Christian's doing this because he's just now getting off of a big table rush, if you will. He played Raj just a little while ago for his team and ended up beating Raj, I think it was 1-5, if I remember correctly, and one of those racks was a 8 on the snap. So he ran, for the most part, 4 other racks against him. Not breaking runs, but still ran good. So maybe that's the reason why. Maybe it's because he's on that rush and he says, hey, I'm on fire. Keep me on the table. Don't let me sit.
I do know that as a level 5 player, if I get in a hot streak myself, I sometimes prefer to keep playing. If you keep playing, your body don't cool off, so you're able to keep that roll moving. A lot of times, you get in that heat and you just want to stay there.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there is something to be said that, you got somebody that's vibrant, fresh, excited, like Christian was like, woo, and super like stoked about things and everything. So, I mean,
I know nothing about getting excited and
dancing on the stream. So I love that. I wonder, I don't know if I can get Logan's attention. I don't want to distract him too much, but I kind of want to know if he knows the exact thought process behind this. This is interesting. It's interesting. So it could be always a good idea to go hard for those first 3 matches. It's not a bad idea. Plus, I believe, especially with how both of these gentlemen play here, some of these, the 5-3, 5-4, 5-5 races can get a little daunting and long. We saw a couple that have already went the distance in terms of time. Even last night we saw one that went quite a while in terms of time. And, some teams don't like sudden death. Some teams do not appreciate it, don't like it. It's not part of their repertoire. There's some teams that are like, I'm assuming match 5 is going to always be sudden death no matter what. So it is what it is. But you got to play to what style fits you the best and know that you have the lineup to support it.
Well, up until today, that's how I was playing. Come out with fire the first 3 matches and try to go on and, pardon the way I'm going to say this, lop their heads off and get done with it.
Yeah.
Because me personally, none of my team, I have a brand new team. This is their very first session ever playing.
There you go.
Very proud of all my players.
Got it, great, man. Getting to the quarterfinals, huge.
Huge. So I told them, I said, we're going to start out with fire and pray that it don't turn to ice. And yesterday it worked out real well for us. Today it just kind of fell flat on us. But at the end of the day, I kind of understand. Start with your fire and see if you can get it knocked out in 3 and get done.
I mean, I will say, if for some reason, I'm not saying that's going to happen here, and this is not against Elliott Chat. Don't you turn it around on me now. I'm watching y'all. But I will say, if somehow or another Christian happens to pull out because of how on fire he was against somebody like Raj, if he happens to somehow pull out the extremely tough chance of getting a 3-0 here, you got to think, whoever comes up matchup number 2 is Christian's Angels, like, you just overly excited the snot out of your team. Like, the banners are waving, the drums are beating, like the whole chant's happening. It's amazing. Mr. JT, I got Mr. Mike Gammons Jr. here on the live stream with me. He was just on the stream a little while ago. But yeah, welcome on in, bud. He had a really, really good matchup just a little while ago. It was fun to watch. It was him and then, and I'm not going to try to pronounce Matt's last name, but Matt C.
I wasn't going to try to.
Cameline. I'm going to butcher it, and y'all are going to laugh at me.
I tried to pronounce it when we were playing, and I went, never mind.
Yeah.
I'm going to call him Matt.
Yep. Does Matt work for you? Matt works for me. Okay, cool, Matt.
Very nice young man, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Very, very respectful. Very respectful. There we go. Don't overstroke it. Ooh, little reset.
He jumped up off the table pretty quick to reset, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He's like, maybe I'm getting a little too fast, too furious on this. Small pop-up on this. Oh, I would have liked to pop up a little more than that. I think 4 bottom right.
Or a little less.
Yeah. I think it's one of those I automatically knew I was going to overstroke it a little bit, so I would have went to be above it just to be on the safe side. He's still got a good angle on it, though. Slow speed. There you go. Way to take advantage of the pocket. He's assuming going to go longer for the top left-hand corner pocket. Yeah, it's a tougher cut there, left-hand side pocket. Some people prefer it, though. You like side pocket in this, or you like top left?
It really depends on how I've been shooting that day.
I agree with you.
If my Qball has been working to my advantage, I would go to the side. But if it's kind of slow motion on me, then I would have done what he done.
That's a huge first rack. Huge. You hear the big cheers in the background from Team Day One-ish. Very, very awesome start. Well played. Very well played. Surrounded there on the YouTube side saying very good. JT saying he'd cut it inside. Chat, love to know, by the way. I'm a huge fan. I don't shy away a lot from side pockets. I've got myself to where I feel very comfortable with them. That shot, I felt like he didn't have too much of an angle, so the top left didn't seem too much of an issue. If there was a little bit more of an angle for top left, I may have been like, nah, I'm just going to leave it in the side, like just take it home. But
well, the nice part is the way he played it. He just pushed through it.
Yeah. Yep.
He didn't try anything fancy. He just pushed through the ball. So it was a nice out.
Yes, it was. John Hummel asking one of the most important questions of the day. He says, who? And the correct answer to that always is Tim Jones. What's up, John Hummel? Welcome back, bud. Oh, wait, got a little action. Qball got in the way of it. And 13 ball there at the bottom right. Hey, Kevin, how's it going, bud? I keep forgetting that's you there on YouTube. It's always weird with people's different names on YouTube sometimes. Mr. Kevin Early in there. An old big fan of Jacksonville APA. Played many years in this league. probably back playing again some more if he isn't already. That man sneaks on and off teams faster than I can blink twice. I tell you what, man.
See, that's like me. I took 15 years off from playing.
Yeah.
I've only been back to playing about 10, 11 months now.
Chat, my double impersonator's in chat right there. Somebody say hi to Tim Jones. What's up, buddy? How you doing, Tim? Kiara, aren't you in here? Or are you just supporting the stream? Where you at? Yeah, it's tough. I only just a couple years taking off with wife and I having kiddos and stuff, but man, it's tough sometimes. You know, even just this couple years, I can't even imagine anything over the 5+ year mark. Like, yeah, it's tough to get back in the groove of everything.
Well, it becomes, truthfully, it becomes teaching yourself again.
Yeah.
And learning, speed, your English, because felt has changed, cues have changed, tips have changed. So you take somebody like myself that got away from the game for 15 years. I come back, I went from a wood shaft to a carbon shaft. I changed the style of tip I was using. I used to use a super soft, now I'm on a medium.
Yeah, that's a big difference.
So, I mean, there's been a lot of changes in the industry overall. The tables are even changing as far as how close they can get them nice and level now.
Yep.
I can tell you that the table that they're playing on, if you're sitting at the far end from the camera, the bottom right corner there and this top right corner, they both have a little bit of a felt roll towards the long rail.
There you go.
And it got Omar during his match twice.
I saw that with the missing the ball right here at the
Yes, sir.
trying to get the solid hit. You saw the little wobble.
And it was the size of the thickness of a dime that it rolled that kept him from getting the good hit. And I told him, I said, that's kind of a rough ordeal. And then in my match, Matt had a bad roll down at the other end.
Yeah.
That, it rolled into the rail instead of going into the, and it was a straight shot.
If I may real fast, Kiara, you go enjoy ramen. Kevin, are you? Did you move to New Jersey? Are you gone, brother? If so, I miss your face, man. And Christine Ryan asking if there's a way to take the words off the screen. That is a setting within your Facebook app here. Normally, whenever you have the phone sideways and you tap the screen, there's usually a little cog icon to turn off closed captioning. That is not a setting that I have turned on for you, I promise you. So that should help you out on it, but I don't know a better way to tell you. But seriously, Kiara, you go enjoy some ramen for me, okay? Could use a good ramen night. But yeah, you're right though. I mean, a decade difference, alone in technology has the game has completely changed.
Well, like I told my son, he picked up one of my players that I played with for years. He goes, Dad, I want a new cue. I want one of my own.
Yeah.
And we went and bought J Flowers, which is a very nice cue.
Yes, it is.
Well, Christian Hubbard on my team told me, he said, try this cue out. He handed me a Predator, and the difference just in J Flowers and Predator is night and day. And I told my son, I said, the difference of what I'm used to to what we're playing with now is, I can tell I'm getting old, Tim. I mean, I can honestly tell that, I've aged, but the game is still as fun to me today as it was 20 years ago.
Yep.
And, one of the guys that we shot today, and I've heard it in here a couple of times, I want to have fun.
Yeah.
And I think that my clowning around earlier, as you've seen, I think that helps lighten the mood. Everybody becomes more relaxed, and it's like a bunch of buddies playing in your house or at your local little tavern somewhere. But APA to me is just more about friends and family to a certain degree.
Zach, it's funny you mentioned, Zach's making a joke here on chat saying he plays with a broomstick. It's funny you mentioned that because I remember the Halloween party that we had over at Blanding Billiards, and you had to spin the Wheel of Doom, and one of the things was like you had to play your match with a broomstick, and we did. We played with these broomsticks, big old broomsticks, and we even chalked the top of it, and I mean it was a blast. That was so much fun. So,
well, I've always made the joke of a house cue being an oar, like a oar for a vessel.
Yep.
And my son goes, "Why do you call them that?" I said, "Son," I said, "we didn't have all of these plastic style cues that they have now. I said they were literally old wood, just oars.
Yeah.
And, you know, at the house we have, I don't know, 6, 8, 12 cues that are just junk cues that I've picked up along the way or he bought or whatever. And everybody comes to the house and they're like, what cue can I use? The ones on the wall.
Yeah.
Why can't I use that one you're using? This is $1,000 pool cue.
Yeah.
I'm not going to hand it to somebody that don't play pool and know how to play. You know.
Yeah, that ain't happening. You don't get to drive my Maserati.
Yeah, when it comes to my Predator, that is my Maserati.
Yeah.
I've wanted one since they came out. So,
There you go.
and finally, you know, all these years.
Nice little defense. Sorry.
I actually like that.
Yeah. Yeah, he opened up a little bit. I don't know if he meant to open it more, but he set himself up for future success. There's a tight window for that 9-ball. But no, I'm with you on it, man. I'm very protective of my Q-Tech cues, and you know, it's like I told my wife, like back in the day when, you know, I would fork out money for my Vic Firth drumsticks back in March Band days, and like one guy didn't ever understand why like I almost got into a fight with him. He threw my brand new Vic Firth drumsticks, which they're like a $20 pair for a single pair of drumsticks, which is a lot. Right. When you're 15 in high school, that's a lot of money. And he threw them in the main trash can that was on the door on the way out to the field, that all of us would go walk out to the field, and that's where all of our normal, like, all of our snacks, our candy, our gum, like everything we go in that for, we go to the field for practice. So, like, it was the gross trash can. Now, I didn't know at the time that it happened to have a fresh liner in it. But, like, you want to talk about fighting, like, I went, like, one of the guys grabbed me and, like, held me because he knew I was going swinging. Right, but it's the same concept here with our pool cues. Like, we're protective of it because, like, it's a lot of money for us here. Some of us, you know, $200 cues is a lot of money. Some of us, $1,000 cues is a lot of money for us. But it's like, those are our babies. Like, we've earned them. We've earned the right to buy them and stuff, and we try to take care of them. So that's why I always try to tell people, I'm like, don't take offense if somebody doesn't let you, like, touch their cue. That's why I always ask. Like, if there's something I see that's beautiful, I'm like, may I pick up your cue? If not, I understand. Like, there's so many different pool cue names out there that I'm like, I don't know this one, but it sounds expensive.
Well, I got a friend of mine that plays APA with us.
Yeah.
I think he's been playing APA for almost 30 years.
Ooh, goodness gracious.
And I mean,
yeah,
that's
wow.
consistent other than when he got sick, but he plays with an old La Casa.
La Casa, yeah.
A beautiful pool cue.
Yep.
The poor thing, the shaft needs to be replaced. I mean, it's been filed down enough that it looks like a toothpick instead of a Q-tip.
Oh, that's funny.
And, you know, I've shot with it years ago, and he's right at 80 years old, and he still plays with that same La Casa. But it's what you said. These are our babies. I mean,
yeah, we love our cues. We love it here. JT said Day Lane thought he was the only one there to eat hot dogs. What are you talking about, JT? Stephanie, how's it going on the YouTube side? Welcome back. Welcome back. JT saying, I wish I knew how to play this game. I wish you did too, okay? I wish you did too. I'll teach you, though. Don't worry. I don't charge too much.
Well, will you teach me?
I will teach you, Mr. Mike Gammon Jr. I certainly will. I'll teach you how to play the pool. You keep teaching me how to have a lot of fun and make some of the magical shots you made, dude, because there were some brilliant shots. Guys, it was definitely a worthwhile watch, that matchup between him and Matt earlier. I'm dead serious about it. It was a lot of fun to watch. It was a good one.
Yeah,
Nice
Omar come to me after the match was all done and over, and he goes, dude, I was questioning if you're a 5 or a 6. He said, because you honestly don't shoot like a 5. And I'm like, well.
I'll take that compliment.
Yes, it was heartfelt. I really enjoyed the compliment, and I told him personally thank you, because, you know, a lot of people don't understand what some of them shots take.
Yeah.
I mean, you can sit here and watch and go, well, I would have done this or I would have done that. But what is going on in that player's head at the time of that shot, you're not seeing what he's wanting to do on his next shot or 3 shots later.
Yep.
I know that I count 3 to 4 shots out.
Yeah, yep, absolutely.
And some players, the ball they see is the ball they're shooting, and they don't think about nothing after that.
That's true. They're definitely playing players that's, you know, there's a lot of fog on the road. They're not seeing, you know, more than a few feet ahead of them at a time. That's the same way some of their pool games are.
And I have one player on my team that I'm trying to teach. You got to at least look 2 shots ahead of yourself, so you know how hard to hit that ball to set yourself up. Mm-hmm. And then you watch, I forget the gentleman's name. Well, Omar. You can use Omar.
Sorry, what a defense.
he made some shots that, and his cue ball control was just immaculate.
Mm-hmm.
But it was knowing that I'm going to shoot this ball next and that ball following.
Yep. Katrina here on the Facebook side. So let's go, Christians Angels. Love you guys. Kiara cheering on Mr. Elliot Lawson says, just breathe. That's what you got to do. When you're taking on a Goliath, if you will, of somebody of Christian Daniels' skill level and stuff and the way he plays.
Beautiful roll. Oh.
Yeah, you gotta breathe. You gotta work through it, right? That was a great defense from Christian. That was.
If he'd have shot it over here, I could have told him how to make it.
Down to the bottom right corner pocket, right? I love it. By the way, there was a shot here. You got to go back and look, but there's a shot that I was like, why not? Just go ahead and 3-rail this bad boy top left-hand corner pocket. And, like, you start aiming on the left-hand long rail right over here, and you're aiming. I was like, there's no way. I was like, no, okay. He's looking for the one rail bank. And then nowhere you go, boom, 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 back up there. I was like, Chad, oh, my gosh. I was like, I'm losing it over here. I was like, I can't believe he just did that. Because, like, if you hit it firm, you would have let the Qball perfect place for the 8, which you still had a good placement on the 8 after it was said and done. But I was rolling, Mike. I was like, I swear, Jesus. I was like, he can hear me. Like, I can't believe he just swung for that 3-rail. Like, I'm sitting here making a joke. Like, 3-rail kick it. Yeah, why not? But, like.
But my son was listening in.
Yeah.
And I happened to look over at him where he was sitting, and I seen him laughing.
Yeah.
So I walked over. I said, what is he over there saying?
Yeah.
And he goes, Dad, just play your game.
Yep.
And he's dying laughing, and I'm like, I was going to walk over here, and I was like, nah, I ain't going to do that. But at some point in that match, Matt played me perfectly. He left me long 3 times.
Yep.
And I have made that shot. Nice finish on that there.
Yep, good out. Good defense to get there.
But, at some point, Matt had to figure out how to defense me.
Correct.
And I've made that particular shot that he left me with. I've made that shot 1,000,000 times, and today I couldn't make it if you threw my fat hiney on the table. And
it was one of those days.
Oh yeah, I mean, but I saw it.
Yeah.
I walked down and looked at it. I seen everything I needed to see, but I watched Omar make a shot, and I went. I looked at one of my teammates and I said, "How did he do that?" I mean, it was. Mathematically, the shot that he took shouldn't have worked because all pool is mathematics. It's geometry.
Yep.
And the math didn't work. And I looked at one of my players and I'm like, okay, explain.
That math ain't mathing, huh?
The numbers didn't add up.
Yep.
And
Oh,
I watched.
Don't make that 8.
You said his name a few minutes ago. Christian just played him.
Mm-hmm.
And Raj.
Yep.
I watched Raj play a couple of games over here on the side tables yesterday.
Yeah.
Raj is a heck of a shot. And
Yes,
he does some very unique things with the cue ball himself.
Mm-hmm. That man knows how to respectfully, very effectively manipulate the game. It reminds me of what was the gentleman's name you threw first?
That would be Durwood Mason.
Durwood, yeah. So there was a shot that he took, and he had a beautiful, nice little carom situation where, like, he made the other one ball at the top right, and the other one he hit full to get it close to that top left-hand corner pocket. But I was sitting there, I was like, man, he is like, dude, like, that's amazing. I was like, that's really, like, as a 4, like, he is shooting. Cause I think it was, it was 4-4,
yeah, it was 3-3 race. Yeah.
But I was like, man, he really understands, like, how to really, like, manipulate the other object balls on the table, and you've got to, like, in order to elevate that skill to go from that 4-5 and get to that 6 range, like, you've got to understand now the caroms that are out there and the necessities when it is necessary to bump into something else, right? Like, you got to always pick and choose those battles. That's one thing I tell people. You got to, like, it may be a problem ball, but is it your problem to deal with? I know it's yours on there, but it may not be yours to deal with.
Well, we have practice nights every week. We shoot on Thursdays. Most of us shoot on Thursdays and Mondays.
Okay.
So on Wednesdays, Tanya Rice, that's on my team, she has what they call ladies' night.
Okay.
We go over to her residence. We get on their table, and I will literally put my players in positions to where they have to think about that carom shot or that how am I going to do this to get this ball out or that ball out.
Yeah.
And
the breakouts.
I have, we call him Driston. It's another one of Tanya's sons on the team. And this past Wednesday night, I was over there, and he was going to shoot this crazy shot down the long rail. And I'm like, Driston, listen to me. See where the 3 is here? I said, it was the 1 ball. I said, shoot the 1 ball. It sets you up for the 2 ball, which sets you up for the 6 ball, which sets you up for the 7, and then the 8 and the side.
Yeah.
He goes, I can't do that. I said, if you listen to me, you're a 2.
Yep.
If you listen to me, I can teach you how to do it and run yourself to that.
Yep.
And a lot of people look at me because I'm a 5 and they think, well, how do you know that? Well, play this game for 30 years and you seem to learn stuff like that.
Yeah, you pick up a thing or two. Just because you can't reproduce doesn't mean you got it up here.
And I'll be honest with you, Driston, he did exactly what I told him. He ran all the balls off the table, and when he dropped the 8, he looked up at me, and I couldn't have knocked a smile off his face with a sledgehammer, because he finally seen what I try to teach my players. Always look at 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
Then worry about 4 and 5. But I teach, when you get done with 1, now you got a different 1, 2, 3.
Yes,
when
you
you get done with 2, you got a different 1, 2, 3.
You do got to
And eventually you run out of balls to shoot, and you're on the black ball, and you get lucky and win. Or at least I get lucky and win. Most people do it with skill. I'm just lucky.
There you go. Well, we're going to get back into the action on this match here, because this is nice to see that, Elliot and Christian here, right number 3, 1-1 already. And Christian with an interesting situation here. I mean, that 13-7, very problematic. Might be able to use the 12 here in a moment if that's what's here towards the bottom short rail. Yep, he's going to try to get an angle to get that knockout. Don't go too far. Went too far. He's trying to be kind of below it here to for sure get that knockout on the 13.
That's going to take a lot of English to get that cue ball to get up in there into that.
Yes, it is. That's a problem. That is a big problem.
Well, maybe that's the reason he's a 7.
Maybe so.
And he tried the English, and it did what I thought. It ran into the long rail a little short of that object ball he was trying to break loose.
I'll say Christian's really, really good at again, he's one of the top players here in Jacksonville, one of the higher-ups without a doubt, and has earned that right for sure. He has a lot of really good capability to manipulate things on the table too, man. It's so much fun to watch.
Oh, my goodness. Did he? Oh, wow.
He took the pocket, though. I mean, that pocket's his. Elliott is not getting that out of there. He might be able to roll his in with it, but he is not getting that 3 or that 13 out of there. I'm sorry.
Christian's got a little work here just to be able to get the other 2 object balls off the table.
Oh, you mean Elliott?
Excuse me, Elliott. I apologize.
No, you're good. You're good. I was like, wait a minute. No, you're okay. Yeah, he's gonna need to go after the 1 first. I really don't see a need or a reason to defense here, unless he decides to maybe roll up the 7 into the 8 a little bit and roll up the 8 into the 1 and try to start playing blocker. But I mean, he just doesn't have a lot of choice here. I think 1 ball, you go for the 7-3 combo towards the bottom, going knock 13 out, and should be able to bare minimum leave your 3 in there to then be able to get shape back for the 7 and go from there. 8 ball's going to go top right-hand corner pocket after said and done, but you got to land the 1 first and still have a window. If you got to go 7-3 combo. If you got a window into the 3, then cool, but.
Is he going to try this bank?
I don't. Oh, this is a little risky here to take both here now. I don't know if he can. I don't quite like his angle that he's on.
I don't think I would have done that playing a 7. I mean, that 14 ball's out there in the open field.
I don't know what Jules told him. Jules is a Super 7 as well. Jules Jr. that was on the screen here a moment ago, giving him a timeout. I'm just not sure if what he was telling. Would have been a little nicer
if that was over closer to the rail.
To the right, yeah. Yeah, for sure. Maybe that's what he was looking for, was maybe it just creeped out just a little bit, and that was what he's trying to execute. Oh, he's got to get a bounce.
Bounce.
He gets it.
Right there in the side.
Yep. maybe that would make a lot more sense. I think you're right. I think he was looking to be just a tiny bit further to the right. That's why he hit as slow as he did. Try to leave it onto that rail, and that would have made that shot way more difficult for Christian.
Yeah, then he would have had to go around the 7 to get to that 14 instead of just I call that an easy cut because I make it all the time. I'm not saying everybody calls that an easy cut.
By the way, I gotta give a shout out. I love Day One Ish's. I'll shout out your guys' jersey too because I love patriotic things. You know, we got 4th of July right around the corner and everything, so it's awesome to see. But I gotta give a shout out Day One Ish because theirs all has different nicknames on it. So if you see Elliot's right here, the architect, Mr. Sub-Zero, he's got ice in his veins. Jules Rivera Jr. over there. So
I like the way they put the nicknames down the back. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
I mean,
Very,
we
very
all have our nicknames, but they're up on the front.
Yep.
I'm a uniform guy. I like everything being uniformed and
Yep.
kind of.
Well, there's something about a team, right? I literally talked about March Man a moment ago, right? You know, we all wear the same outfits, same dealio, same thing with anything. That is a team environment. You know, you all want to be dressed in something that is similar or some sort of similar at least theme.
Correct.
You know,
I'm with you on that.
it's
It
good.
just looks more professional when you go out in places. People, they recognize it. Like
Yep.
we've got our players that have got APA patches for Rackless Nights and stuff. We're getting ready to sew them on the opposing shoulder.
Wait till I tell you what I saw in Vegas. Finish that story though.
And we're going to have them all sewn on so that when we're out in public, people see that it's APA, and that's where the team comes from and all that.
Yep. JT said as I go, said just crossbait the 7 like I did in Vegas. Not everybody can shoot as good as you, JT. Now stop it. No, there was a sweet lady, and kind of find out she told me about it. She ended up having a brain injury and everything. But she had she just used a black piece of fabric to make a cape. But she had all of her APA patches sewn onto it like a superhero cape on the back. It was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. I was like, what a great use of the patches. I said, this is brilliant. I was like, you look like a superhero running around with your cape on your back while you're wearing it like a superhero cape, and just all you see is 8 on the snap and rackless and you know, I beat the this and that, and you just see all of them. I'm like, that's amazing. That's so cool.
I'm super APA.
Yeah.
No, you know, my son, well, there again, my whole team being new,
Yeah.
they're just getting patches.
Yep.
And my son goes, what did you do with all your patches, Dad? And I'm like, I don't know, ask your mother, because I don't keep up with that stuff. I'm more worried about the next ball I got to drop. I love the patches because it is showing that pool players in general for APA are getting seen for what they do when
Yes.
they play.
Yep.
And you know,
Tony, I was about to say, man, I agree with you about he could have kept up the 13 and hit the cue ball. Yeah, it's either there was a weird miscommunication during that timeout, or there's a different expectation there at hand of how that was heading. I'll just want to go with Elliott versus Christian. But I do agree, Elliott needs to play smart and defensive. I would have left the 3 alone. I honestly think he had the run. I think he had the 1 ball top right. I think, again, if he gets into bad shape, he could have went for the 7-3, let the 7 roll towards the 3, left the 3 in the pockets. There was a good run potential there. I think if Elliott was against a 5, right, that would have been played differently.
I got to agree with you
I
on
don't think
that.
that defense would have been taken. I think that defense came from who his opponent is.
Get down in there.
Bump.
The only big problem ball he's got right now is that 6 ball. See it against the 9 right there against the
Oh, I
long
missed
rail?
it. Yeah, I didn't even see that.
That is a major problem ball for him because
Yeah, Christian maybe had to break it loose. But Elliott's going to be, yeah, you're right. Elliott's in trouble with that 6 ball being right where it is.
Elliott can use the 13 combo to come down into the bottom corner here, but
Well, Christian can. Christian uses the
Christian
13
can.
combo, yeah.
Elliott's just got a ball that's trapped and it's pinned there.
Yep.
And
May-
I know that
Maybe he'll have I wonder if he can get a good back cut in on that 3 ball, be here on the bottom, short route after the 1, get a good back cut on the 3, and be able to fling into it. That's
do
tough.
a long shot on the 3 and use some top and push the 6 towards the side maybe.
Maybe
after
so,
coming
yeah.
back off of the 1.
Yeah. No matter what. Again,
But we
he's-
all see the table different too.
Yeah, yeah. He's got to make, no matter what, I think we're in agreement, he's got to manufacture something. Like, it's one of those situations, like, I don't have Ain't doubt Christian's going to figure a way through it. It's a matter of Elliott's got to, and I just don't know if Elliott needs to be the one. This is that situation, right, with where he's playing. I don't know if this is really Elliott's problem now the more I start to think about it.
That could be his saving grace.
Yeah, I think
that could be Elliott's saving grace.
I think this
right
is a
there.
Christian problem here. I think the trash that fell on the floor, Christian's got to pick up here and get out to the dumpster can before Monday rolls around and the trash gets picked up. I ain't touching it. No, sir. I don't care if I left it there or not. This is his problem.
You know, I tell my players, if you're playing a lower ranked player, get your balls out of trouble. If you're playing a higher ranked player, leave it stuck. Make them do the work to get it out for you.
Yeah.
And sometimes that plays good in your favor, and sometimes it just smacks you in the face.
Right.
But right here, I think that Elliott really needs to leave that, let it be a Christian problem, and just clear off everything he can clear off. See, I would do this.
I'm not starting with a 7.
Different. Me personally, I would start down here on this 3 or this 1.
I actually think he can use the 4 to the 2 and then use the 2 to get to the 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do the 4 left-hand side pocket here, roll forward, try to keep an angle where I can pot the 2 right-hand side pocket, but still get the cue ball to kick into the 6-9.
Well, the point that I was going to make is these pockets do not like that bottom English.
Yeah.
And in order to get back to that 2 or the 4, he really needed to pull bottom on it, and you've seen that it rattled the pocket.
Yeah.
So some of it's knowing how these tables accept the English that you put on the ball, too.
No.
Because I had a couple myself that rattled the pocket due to trying to put bottom English on it. There's the kick out.
Ooh, a lot of kick out on that 6. A lot of breathing room. JD says Christian needs a drink. Maybe Christian had one again. We don't know the reason why Christian threw himself against Elliott. That may be the other reason why. Christian done went and had his drink. He's got aiming fluid going, and you take it while you got it, right? Like I don't have a clue.
Had that adult beverage to assist with his playing abilities.
Yep. Loosen the elbow up a little bit. Kevin said, I agree with you both about it, but Elliott's going to concentrate on that 6 ball. Yeah, so you think no matter what, Elliott would be able to, which Kevin's played with Elliott before plenty of times. So you think no matter what, it's technically Elliott's problem because Elliott's brain's not going to let him forget about it, is what I think you're trying to tell me in chat.
Yeah.
All right, watch shot across the way.
That young man made a couple of beautiful shots over here on the other side in his last match. They were, his cue ball control was very
impressive.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
He dropped one in the far corner pocket and had the cue ball come all the way back down to the other short rail for another. So he's going to try a cut here on this 10 ball.
It was funny earlier, by the way, whenever Logan was playing, he was playing in Sun Death against Melissa on Strokers. And it's the last rack that either team needed all boiled down to the 1 rack in Sun Death. And Logan was like, Christian, anytime at Christian. And Christian walked down to one of the other tables. Everybody's like, Christian. And Christian came run over. He's like, oh, crap. You know it's bad whenever Logan's calling me over. And now we have the reverse here. Christian calling over Logan for the timeout. It's kind of funny. A little reversal here. That kind of stuff always cracks me up, man.
Elliott's got a little homework to do here. He's got to get some balls off the table or he's going to be in trouble.
He's got homework and extra credit right now. 9's open up for Christian here. He's 9 bottom right-hand corner pocket. Come off that right-hand long rail, 12 bottom left. Pop back up 11 bottom right. And if you're straightened on it, maybe you just drive it on in or even pull back a little bit, 8 right-hand side pocket or top right, depending on which way you want to. But 9, 12, 11. Call it a day. I think he's going to get over that far.
Got over a lot further than I thought he was going to there.
I didn't think he needed to. I don't know if he wanted to. He doesn't seem excited about that. I'm guessing.
And that's a hard stretch too.
Yeah.
Once you get to that, just past that third dot, it's a hard stretch.
Yep.
Especially if you got a belly like me, then it kind of hangs you up. And
I don't know what you're talking about there, Mike Gammons. I don't know what you're talking about.
oh, I was in reference to myself, sir. Nobody else.
I know where I was just making a joke. I'm like, I've never been in that neck of the woods ever.
That's what I keep telling my son. I'm fat, son. I can't bend like I used to, you know. Which I've had to teach myself how to use the bridge. And for years, I never touched a bridge. And now I'm having to learn how to use it, how to hold my hand. I look like a, crazy person.
Right. Look at that. Wow. What an attempt. Yeah, that definitely got away from him. He didn't mean for it to go that far over Christian's reactions.
Yeah, that. Good God.
Dan over here hanging out all day, refereeing. Appreciate him, by the way, Mr. Dan Chenard. Captain Dan, or no, what was it? Coach Dan. Sorry, Coach Dan. Forgive me. Mr. Coach Dan. That was on the live stream the other night.
Yeah, I think he actually set in when I was supposed to be on live stream, but I was over there with my team hoping and praying.
You were over there putting in work, sir. Putting in some work.
He's got a little work to get to that 11.
Yeah,
is that the 11 or the 15? I think I'm going blind.
No, you're good. You're good. It's always a little tougher to tell from here too, because we're commentating straight from the from the monitor how we have to do it. But okay, it's in a better position now. But
it's out in open playing field.
Yeah.
The worst part about that ball being down there like that is now there's room for Elliott to defense.
Plenty of room. A-Ball's playing a good blocker. He's got 4 wonderful balls just sitting right there towards the bottom short rail. The only thing Elliott needs to make sure to do, please for love all things, Elliott, for if and when you do defense, don't just push one of your balls to the rail and leave it there. You're going to make it more difficult for yourself later on. Defense and get the ball out of there. Do something else with it. That's the number one thing. Like, once you start learning defenses, now you need to start understanding of, like, well, I can defense this and just roll it up. You can, but now you're doing yourself 0 favors and causing a major issue for you on your next shot. Like,
Wayne Bernard actually showed me something on defenses one day.
Yeah.
He goes, you keep leaving yourself hard. He said, you have a how did he say it? You have a defensive shot that is a plus, and you have a defensive shot that is a minus.
Yes.
And if you leave yourself hard at the end of the day, now it's a minus.
Yep.
If you leave that ball stuck against a rail or even knuckled up against another ball, it's a negative defense.
Yep. Yeah, always. I mean, of course, first step in doing anything right, you got to crawl before you walk. So learn what defenses are, right? Learn what a defense looks like. But then once you start figuring out, okay, I know for a fact I've worked through this situation on this table. I know for a fact I need a defense. Now let's start amplifying how effective those defenses are, right? How much am I leaving them missing on stuff? Am I just grouping their stuff up? Oh, not pushed off the rail. He's not bad because of where the others are,
but there's that negative defense.
Yeah.
Without one, it's dead on the rail now.
Yeah, the problem is he's got to get to an angle to be able to go back and forth between all that, and they're so close. I mean, they're all within a half a diamond off the bottom short rail and below. Right. That's so much. Oh, it's so much.
And they're within the 2 diamonds, the 2 outer diamonds on the short rail. So
yeah, they're so close to each other.
That leaves it hard to let that cue ball roll out to give you an angle to get to the next ball.
Yeah.
And I will say that sometimes when I love my cue ball control, because I can make the cue ball push it a little bit or pull a little bit.
I wouldn't mind seeing a 2-railer from this. I actually like the 2-rail to see if he hits the 11 full.
He's going to go 1 rail, brother.
I mean, you're not wrong. He only has to go 1 rail. He pinched at the wrong spot. He just pinched at the wrong spot. When you pinch it where the rail is, the blue felt of the rail, not the back end.
Yeah, he pinched at the back side of the
Yeah.
black, not the felt.
Yeah, not the felt, the back end of the actual black part of the rail. Now, it looked like he still was in the right point of view for it, but
I don't know. This is where I would just about try a mass A shot. See
What?
how the 8's off to the left a little
I wouldn't
bit.
even try that. I would hit the 4 into the right-hand long rail and let it group up back with a 3. Give him ball in hand. You know what I mean? Like, I felt like I was going to probably give ball in hand on that shot anyways.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna snooker up his stuff. Bump that noise. Bump that noise. I'm gonna make that run difficult as I'll get out now. Be like, you enjoy this.
I personally think that the 7 was the right beginning shot.
Yeah.
Give yourself that little bit of wiggle room.
We go 7-3-1-4 and do a little crisscross applesauce on it.
Right.
Yeah.
Because now, if that cue ball gets away from him at all, it's going to push him way out, and he's going to have a hard time staying down on that bottom.
Oh, we got a little movement on the 4. It wasn't bad. Just not enough angle, though, on the 1.
No.
He might try to over manipulate this. Take your time on it, Elliot. Take your time. Okay, a little nudge in the 7, but not too crazy. Slight cut on the 4. Maybe there might even be a slight back cut on it. There we go. Dwayne said at least roll the 8 to the opposite end of the table away from the 4 balls. That wouldn't have been a bad choice. I wouldn't have been upset with that. I see what you're saying now, Dwayne.
Yeah, I didn't even think about
Yeah,
that.
I didn't take that into consideration. I like that. Yeah,
That way, when you shoot your 11, the 8's already down there. You ain't got to do nothing to get any real big shape.
True, because he could have even been super nasty with 8 and pushed it up against the top short rail. I mean, if that 8 was sitting on the top middle diamond on the top short rail, like Elliot would have had to do a whole lot more to get up there. He didn't do himself a big favor there. Elliot needs this too. If this even ends with Elliot losing, but Elliot getting to the hill, that is a win for day 1-ish.
Did he mark that top right pocket?
He did. He marked top right hand corner
I see
pocket.
it now.
Yep. I like his little stretching there though. Getting in his feel for his shot, stroke. Oh, stay down on your shot. I saw that head bobble.
Nice roll.
Tommy got it.
Cue ball into the rail.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
he nippled it.
Man, that pocket point came on out on him. Yep, I agree. Christian's got the tough.
The pocket
tough
points got me all day.
Oh, dude, yeah, it's been.
It was horrific on me earlier.
Christian's gonna have to backbank this top left-hand corner pocket. Stroke it good. Just trusting no matter what, you're gonna have a leave on the 8. That was it.
Can't argue with that.
Nope. MIA, take it to the house. The bank is open. It may be Sunday, but it don't matter.
You know, I've learned that a lot of people have problems with this shot because they don't realize hit that rail and the 8 ball at the exact same time, so your cue ball stuns itself and don't fall in that pocket behind it.
Oh, my lance has so much energy.
Well, it's supposed to stun it, not roll all the way back down to the
He
other
came
end.
one diamond away from that bottom right-hand corner pocket, chat. Good out from Christian Dales. Up 3-1 right now in the race to 5-3. Now is it an even 2-2 race left in the battle here. Next point from either gentleman gets them on the hill and gets them their first point for the team. Oh, my Lanta. That thing was a booking it. It was like, Greyhound bus, you make a stop here? Yeah, you do. Let's go.
But that is a typical mistake. People forget that ball can roll to, well, it's got 5 other pockets it can roll to if you hit it. That's the reason I teach everybody, if you're shooting that particular shot he just shot from the angle that he was at, bottom left hit the rail and the object ball at the exact same time, so it stuns that cue ball and makes it stop rolling. I mean, we all like to be fancy, though.
Oh, of course.
I'm not going to say that I don't enjoy watching my cue ball dance sometimes, but
Right. That's why I love whenever you got a side pocket shot, and you know you got the angle to go 3 rails on one of the halves of the table to get back a round shape, and it's like, look at this. Bam, 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 bam. You're like, everyone's like, wow, that was really cool. I'll be like, I know, it's so fancy, ain't it? Such a fancy shot.
But, these lower-ranked players, you have to teach them. You don't need shape after the 8. You don't have to kill it.
Yep.
Just get the ball in the hole. That's all we're worried about.
JT, that's true. Maybe lower rates, but 7 rarely makes that mistake. Yeah, I was surprised that Qball traveled as far as it did. I didn't expect. I still want him hit firm to be true to the pocket and stuff, and be sure for his shot. With again, we talk about the way the tables are playing and stuff. Like you still need things to go in, not gently, but a nice little firm. Like you're going in that pocket.
Right.
But the fact that Qball traveled all the way from the top short rail and was one diamond out from the bottom right hand corner pocket was nail biting. So, and Kevin's absolutely right on YouTube saying Elliott just needs to play and stop overthinking. He does. He has made clear choices just based on who he's playing, and I feel like if he would have made the normal choice for his game and how he plays, instead of worrying about that opponent, I think he would have done things in a better fashion that would have worked out better for him overall as a player.
I'm 100% in agreement. Sometimes we worry too much about our opponent instead of our game.
Yeah.
Myself included in that. I mean, there were shots that I made today that the young man had good cue ball control, and I was overthinking some of my shots due to his cue ball control.
Yep, it happens. It definitely happens, and especially with this. I mean, we're in the semifinals. By the way, guys, I totally forgot until Kevin here. I'm talking about Kevin earlier on YouTube. Until Kelly called it out earlier before this round started. By the way, all the teams that made it to this point here, they are now in the Elite Cup coming up here very soon for Jacksonville APA. So they'll be a part of the one-day 8-ball Elite Cup winner take all. I think it's $3,000 cash prize. I need to double check.
That's what she said.
Yeah, $3,000 cash prize for it. So going to be a good time. That'll be on July 19th for the 8-ball version and July 20th for the 9-ball version. So that'll be a good one for sure.
Have they said if that's going to be here or at the other, at Dino's, the cue balls at Dino?
the dinosaur Qball.
Yeah.
That is the Elite Cup is no. We don't know.
Determined.
To be determined. To be determined. Yeah, we got to update a couple things on here. So for sure, at least for the World Qualifiers, those have been determined. We're at OG Qball for the 9-ball World Qualifier. And we do have MVP coming up at the OG Qball as well. But yeah, we'll get the Elite Cup, triangles in there. We'll get all that other stuff in there as well. We'll update Team Captain Qualifier number 2. I'll make sure it's on our list of to-dos here. Like Mike Kelly would forget it anyways. They wouldn't. They would see it. But I like that like I'm important in the office. I do love working and being in the office, though. It's definitely a lot of fun. Good job.
Well, I spend so much time dealing with these guys on the telephone.
I turn around, I'm like, I really feel like I'm being watched or something. I see Dan out of the corner of my eye. Mike's just barely got his head around the corner of this
Are you having fun, Mike?
Mike's having a good time. This I will tell you, and again, chat. Just understand this is something Mike Kelly won't tell you about all the hard work. They love this part of the tournament, getting to this part here, because now teams are winning things and stuff. And so, although you'll still feel the heartache. If you get second place and you don't get your trip to Vegas, you'll still feel the heartache. But knowing that you get to Elite Cup, you get the APA Southeast Challenge and stuff, will feel really good. And so they love seeing teams win, right? And especially because of all the hard work that they've put forth into this situation. And they're never looking for like a, great job, Mike Kelly, I love all the hard work. They're never looking for that, right? They'll never speak it out of being like, do you know how much hard work I did? That's not who they are, right? But I'm going to go ahead and tell you that there's enjoyment from this because of all the hard work they put forth. I mean, this week, the office, we have been busting. I mean, literally almost every day is like, Tim, please take care of all the normal stuff. Tim, take care of this. Tim, take care of that. It's like, do this because we have got to focus on making sure this World Qualifier, everything is good to go. We already feel like we got it, but like, let's just double check everything, It's been a lot.
Well, I can honestly say, me being a first-time team captain, coming here with my own team, this was I called the office quite a bit, so they probably tired of hearing me, but
no, I didn't
when
see,
you don't know,
I
you
didn't
don't
see your
know.
name pop up in the text message office phone multiple times there.
But when you don't know, if you don't ask, then you're going to be the person that walks into something kind of dumb, blind, and deaf, if you will. I mean,
I will say I'm going to talk to Mike and Kelly about potentially making a video, and I'll need to make it and get their approval. But I want to do like a top 10 things that every captain should know. Because out of anything I've seen this week, I have realized there are plenty of captains that have not looked through that rule book at all. I'm talking about not even an iota of a bit have ever opened it. And it's like you don't want to get into the World Qualifier and not know certain rules.
well, here's the thing. I can run a computer,
Yeah.
but if you tell me to go on there and start looking stuff up, I'm going to have to call you and ask you, hey, man, how do I get to this?
You
so
are not.
eventually you're going to find out that I'm a dummy.
You are not. It is very simple. Via your app here, you can pull it. But I actually like using the web-based version of rules.poolplayers.com. And the beautiful thing is you can actually just search like Google in the team manual. And so if you're not sure and you're like, hey, I need to make sure somebody's talking about something about timeouts. I need to make sure I'm understanding rules about timeouts. If you search right there and type in the word timeouts and you hit enter here, it's going to show you every time the word timeouts, anything like that pops up inside of the rule book and gives you, when you click on it, gives you the specific pages, and even some things have a little video with them as well to make things a little easier. But that's why I like the web-based. You can still do the same thing. Zach's like, what's this rule book? You still do the same thing via the Pool Players app.
Right.
Don't get me wrong, but just like you had to do pulling out the spectacles here, I'm not picking on you. I wear glasses. I like it because I can see it easier. There's things that bold for me a little easier and stuff, and makes life a lot easier. But I'm going to talk to them about it.
I took a slight different approach.
Yeah.
I've got all these young guys on my team.
Yeah.
Hey, man, you're in charge of rules.
There you go.
You're in charge of this. You're in charge of that.
Oh, no, Elliot. Elliot, you were in charge of not scratching that bottom right-hand corner pocket. Mike, why didn't you tell him that?
Well, sir,
Mike's like, I wasn't in charge of telling him, though.
I can go tell him, but he might tell me to get back over here and shut my mouth.
He will right now. Yeah, none of us can tell him that on that one. Oh, man. But, yeah, I think I'd like to make a top 10.
It would be helpful.
Yeah,
the
would
video
like
would be helpful.
Yeah, I think it'd be something that would be hopefully well received and stuff. So again, I got to talk it over with them. It's an idea that I thought about. I'm throwing it out there on the stream here, but obviously requires approval and may not be able to be approved because it may be something that has to go to corporate anyways. So,
well, I think if you was to take and make like a quote unquote a white chalkboard saying this is the rule, here's where you find it in the rules.
Yep.
And then go, because we had an incident. Since we're talking about rules,
yeah.
The young man that played for me first today, Durwood.
Yeah, Durwood, yep.
It was his second match ever, and he got hung up in the corner. 5 opponent balls around him. The 8 ball was in the middle of him. Qball was there.
Okay.
The only thing he could do was pick up the Qball and hand it to the opponent, or he was going to scratch.
Yeah.
Well, they said that it counted as a scratch. I got on the phone trying to find it quickly.
Yeah.
Well, we went on and gave him the match. Now, this upset Durwood. He was going to quit playing APA because of this. And I told him, I said, give me some time.
So he was being defensive and just simply picking up the cue ball. It wasn't like he picked it
As
up
you
and dropped it in the pocket
today,
or something like that.
As you've seen me do today, you picked up the cue ball and handed it to her. They made this big old ruckus about it. No, that's a scratch on the 8. I said, in order for it to be a scratch on the 8, there has to be a motion taken.
Yeah.
So we went on and gave it to him.
Yeah.
Lo and behold, he got upset. I finally calmed him down. I finally got the actual rule in front of me.
Yep.
And I went to the team captain and told her, I said, that was wrong.
Yeah.
I said, I told you that night it was wrong, but I'm not going to start an argument.
Yeah.
I would rather just, hey, we're playing this for fun. Let's keep it friendly.
Yeah.
And since then, we've had it happen one other time.
And
now that we know exactly in the rules where it says it, oh, trust me, my team can pull it up so fast it'll make your head swim.
Oh, there goes the excitement. I love seeing it. No, that's a good thing they can pull it up. I hate the incident happened, but the issue that we run into, and this happens anywhere. This happens in your normal job and everything in life. You have what I call tribal knowledge, but it's that passed down knowledge, right? It's that Susan told Billy, told Robert, who told Tim. And you're like, cool. and some went through all its different iterations and stuff out of nowhere. And you're like, well, yeah, like Susan wasn't wrong, but that was 5 years ago. That was before we implemented this. Now he wasn't wrong, but also as well, we just changed it a year ago. And you're like, wait a minute, like it's went through, and it's like, yeah, like our rule book with APA does change. It does update.
Well, that's like marking your pocket, as he's done here in the bottom. I think that's his billfold.
Yeah.
You know, you can now use your chalk as a marker.
Yep. It's not
Somebody
recommended.
did that, and I was like, that's no.
Yep.
And then one of my teammates come to me and says, hey, man, it's right here. They changed that.
Yep.
And there again, I quit playing for 15 years. Think of the rule changes in 15 years.
Oh, it definitely has. Yeah,
I mean,
100%, yeah.
I'm an old ghost when it comes to the rules. And, you know, like I told my team, there are things that we're going to learn. There's things I'm going to learn. Shoot, there's things that Mike and Kelly are going to learn as this all progresses into these big tournaments. So you just kind of got to take it with a dose of salt. But I agree with you. The top 10 things done on a video, and make it to where all players can go see it. I think that would be, you know, do it with the captains first, because normally we're the ones having to argue the point of a rule.
Yeah, I definitely am a big fan of pulling out the rule book. I'll never forget one night whenever Kelly herself got approached with a rule, and I forget what it was, but it was one of those where it's like, I was like, there's no doubt that I know she knows this rule. She's like, well, let's pull it up together. And literally she pulls up the rule book and pulls up, and she's like, yeah, but it says this, this, and this. And I looked at her, I was like, Kelly, I have no doubt that, like, I know you know that rule. She's like, I do. She was like, but it's just simply showing them, like, the means of, like, how to use the rule book, looking up themselves, validating. She's like, things update. And so that goes what Kit just said. And there, by the way, JT, I want to give a shout out here. He says, rule number 1, no beer on the table. You darn skip on that. Don't you be putting a beer on the table. I don't care if the table's got a cover or not. You stop it. But Kit said, whenever someone tells me that something's a rule and I disagree with, I said, please show me in the rule book. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with seeking to understand and respectfully asking to be shown. It's good. Have I ever heard of a zombie patch? I mean, there's sometimes I feel like a zombie after 12 hours of streaming.
I just saw one of those patches. Don't ask me what it's for, but I just saw one of those patches the last couple of weeks here.
Yeah, no, I've not.
He's in a real bad
I will say,
here.
though, if it's anywhere else, though, in another league area, because normally whenever you ask questions like that, it's because it's in another league area and stuff like that. There are some league areas, by the way, I will tell you, that have specialty things, right? Like we've had before in our past, like an item called River City Sharks that we've had before, for example. Other leagues are like, oh, we don't have that, you know. There are different things in different league areas. There are certain things that are national-wide, right, that are standardized from the national office down. And there's certain things that are like you're allowed to kind of do a little bit in your area and have some fun with some stuff and everything. So that is probably a specialty patch. It's not one I've ever seen to order, just to be honest with you, from the main ordering website whenever we order patches.
So maybe it's kind of like you can do a little bit more than what APA nationally says, not less than.
Yes, correct. Yeah, there's certain things that are just like no matter what, like we have this XYZ and others don't. So means your opponent was on the hill and you had 0, but you came back to win the match. Goodness gracious. There won't be many of those patches given out. That is tough.
Well, you know, when my team first started getting their patches, funny little side hint on this.
That's a fun one, though, Kit.
Mary, our league rep for our area, she would bring the patches to me and say, here's the patches for your players. I said, no, you go hand them to her. And she'd go, why? I said, because it seems more official coming from the league rep or somebody from the league than it does me. I'm their buddy. I'm their pal. I'm their dad.
Yeah.
They don't care about getting nothing from me. They want it from somebody from APA. So I would have Mary take them and distribute them to the players that won the patches.
Sounds like you'd be a great division rep, by the way. Sounds like you'd be a really good division rep within APA. That'd be my 2-cent recommendation, by the way, for you. I'm dead serious.
Well, can I get 3 cents because I'm broke? Oh, he shot that a little hard.
And that one ball opens up that top left-hand pocket. Yeah, the Kid, I think that's a pretty cool one, though. I think that's fun. That's definitely a fun one.
If you know what that zombie patch is for,
yes.
I would like to know because...
No, that's what she said. She said it was when your opponent's already on the hill, you had 0 games, and you came back and won the match.
Okay.
So like if it was a 4-4 race, they're at 3, you're at 0, and you still came back and won 4-3 would be the example.
I'm not going to say I've ever done that before.
Yeah, that's a tough one. That's what I'm saying. Not many of those patches would be handed. Oh, would be handed out.
Yeah, that's having your head and your hiney wired together to come back from being that far down and win. In some of my little statements, I know I'm a dumb redneck from, Mayberry, North Carolina, so I apologize. Y'all don't understand my redneck lingo.
Katrino, do tell, what sort of cue is Mr. Elliott playing that is a nice shiny cue here? What cue is he playing with? Do tell here. Do tell. Katrina knows exactly what cue it is. And I have a strong feeling I know exactly which brand cue that is as well.
Now that I just seen it up close, I believe I do.
Don't you not drop. Gravy biscuit, Elliott. Gravy biscuit. He's knocked on the door a couple times against Christian Daniels on this. He's going to go for the bank. He's going to let it open a little more, though. That bank's just a little bit short. Not by much, but it is a little short. There you go. Looks like he's got the wider angle.
He's going to have to cut it to get it in the bank, ain't he?
No, he doesn't have to cut it to get it in the bank too much, but... Hold on, is it a Q-Tech one? Are you messing? Are you pulling my fingers there? Trina, I'm going to get you. I feel like you're pulling my fingers. I gotta go see it now. Because now I feel like you're pulling my fingers here.
It is a shiny cue. It's right behind you. No, it was in reference to the bridge.
Oh. That body hates Elliott, right?
Matter of fact, there's my...
Yep, Miss Mary Turner.
League rep, thank you. My brain went blank.
Division rep.
Yeah, division rep.
Yeah, absolutely. JT has it right off the floor. Yep, you carry him this shot. Because you want to push that forward downfield. There it is, just like that. Just like that. Beautiful shot. Very well done.
He's a tall fella, too.
He is very tall. There's very few times that man's going to have to use that bridge.
I had the pleasure of meeting him yesterday.
Elliott's great people, man.
Now, how would you do this? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I'm going to just use a little force foul, a little top here on it, just like Dustin's point here. I'm going to use a little top just to ensure I get back downfield. I want a closer shot on that 8. I mean, it's almost
right around the side pockets area for me.
Yeah, if you draw a line in between the two side pockets and I get the cue ball right around in there, yeah, I would be happy with that.
Preferably that left side, but
that's why I'm using a little bit of top there. I want it to go to the left just a tiny bit, but you gotta let the top take. If you go and drill it, it's not gonna take.
Come on. He's all right.
Yeah, he's working with this still. At least not on the 50-yard line and grouped up on it. So,
like Durwood did earlier today.
Katrino, I think autocorrect got you, but I think he meant great caram here, but he said great caramel. Oh, that's funny. We're gonna call that shot the caramel shot now.
Is that salted caramel or is that just regular caramel?
Gotta be a little salted. Got to. If you really want to unlock the flavor. Don't you dare! Don't you dare!
Ooh.
I would have rather left Christian with a shot and Christian get the rack and it just be what it is than me to scratch right there. Like, I get it involved in the same thing, but I just don't want to scratch on that. Just, like, don't bring that on me. Don't let that be in my mind for later on because it's going to potentially mess up the rest of your game for whatever's left of the match. There we go. Mr. C. Daniels on the hill. Yeah, he did, unfortunately, JT. He hit it too hard. So, he hit it too hard. He needed top there. Top would have allowed the cue ball to be forward a little bit further from the original tangent line to the top short rail, and that would have caused it to come down a little bit further to the left than what was originally to be expected. He hit it harder. Nothing could have taken from the ball in terms of English, and so it came on down. In fact, he may have even added some because it went a little bit to the right, so it kind of drifted over there. But it is what it is. You know, this is nerves. This is nerves all day long. All right. One, possibly two more racks left in this battle, and we move on to matchup number 2. JT says correct. Lag speed, straight top. Yep. Yep. You just need it. You needed enough time. Anytime that you're dealing with English and the rails, right? You needed enough time for it to like top, like especially those side pocket shots. I'm telling you, use top to avoid drifting into the side pocket on stuff. And I see people and they're like, "Bam, I did top," and I'm like, well, "You slammed it though, right? Top had no time to do nothing. All that cue ball said was, 'I'm gone,' and went right into that side pocket. Like you got to let it have time to adapt, to move forward, to then prevent the scratcher. In this case here, you need a top enough time to move that cue ball forward, then it makes contact with the rail, and then comes back down. So, yeah. I love it. I didn't even see what Katrina says. Thank you. He says, it's only salted caramel if it's missed. That's a good word, Katrina. I like that. I like that. That's good. Speaking of, man, missing Katrina and JT, same thing with Kid as well. Can't believe we're already to the semifinals of this tournament. I mean, there's only one more, one more match after this. Like, can you believe that? Like, after this, these 12 teams will be down to the final 6, which is the finals, because only 3 go to Vegas.
I'll be honest with you. I was tripping out yesterday after my team won into today, so this is, you know.
A little surreal, right?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, I told my team, look, to be a brand new team, to come as far as you've came, be very proud of yourself. I'm going to hang out, do some commentary with him.
Which I appreciate, by the way. Thank you again for that.
You're welcome, sir. You know, because at the end of the day, you don't realize how fast it does break down. Once you get past the level that we were at this morning to this, it starts hauling tail.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does, for sure. You're right. I love your attitude around that. If I may ask, how many sessions, do you remember how many sessions you guys were together before getting to this, or was last session the
last
first?
Session was our very first session.
So wild. So not only, so you won spring triangles then?
Yes, sir.
That's amazing. So you had one session, came in, won the triangles, and then come right. I mean, you talk about fresh off the boat.
We played the playoffs to go to the triennials.
Okay.
We won the triennials.
There you go.
And
made that money?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Matter of fact, the picture of it has been blown up and put on my garage wall near my pool table.
That.
Because when you take 7 brand new players, and you go just to the triennials, forget this here for a second. That's a feat in its own.
Correct.
And then you turn around, you bring them to something like this.
Yep.
And we won yesterday 9-2.
Yeah, beaten.
And then, you know, today, I think we used up our luck yesterday.
That's funny.
But, you know, I love my players. A little backstory on my players. My son and all of Tanya's boys grew up together.
Oh, that's cool.
So we've all been friends 25-ish years.
Yeah.
Adam Lockwood.
There it is. Good out, by the way. Wow. While we were talking here, Christian went and took it on home. Sorry. Keep on going, though. You're talking about Adam Lockwood?
Adam Lockwood is an addition to the family, if you will.
Yeah.
The boys and my boy played Pee Wee football together and went to high school together and all that.
Okay.
So we were all at a at a family get-together, quote unquote, and we started talking about building a team, and that's how Big Racks come about. Literally a family party, and we discussed it and we built the team.
I like that. That's very cool, actually.
And my son begged me after 15 years of hiatus from playing pool at all for me.
Yeah.
My son said, "Dad, I want to do this, please." And to be honest, with my spine issues, I have a bad lower back and I have nerve damage in my neck.
Yeah.
I was very timid to do this.
Of course.
So I have to play myself early or I start locking up.
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, well, I'll give it a try. I don't know how good or bad or ugly I'm going to be, but we'll give it a try. I mean, I do have a little knowledge about APA, so to bring it from that, a conversation at a family party, to making it here, I personally think that I got a heck of a team.
I like that. Yeah.
And
definitely do. Something to be proud of.
And now, we started our 9-ball team this session.
There you go.
And we're having a ball.
Good. Good.
My 9-ball team, with all due respect, I go home at night with my rib cage hurting from laughing.
Laugh too many belly laughs there?
When you're fat and you start belly laughing, them rib cages don't hold in like they used to.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm listening. You keep talking, by the way, sir. I'm trying to look at something. You're good, though.
But it's different now than it was back when I played APA before.
Yeah.
One, it's different owners now than it was back then.
Sure.
Two, when you call the office, somebody answers.
Sure.
And I really enjoyed that part of Mike and Kelly having it, because if they don't answer right then, within that day, they're calling me back or they're sending me a text, hey, I'll call you tomorrow, whatever the case may be. Within 24 hours, you've heard from somebody from the office. It's not like back in yesteryear when you could call the office until you was as blue as that wall and you wasn't getting nothing. And it's one of those things that Mary and I have talked until she's probably tired of me asking questions, but to bring a team and do what we done, I cannot shout out to my players or the opponents that we've had enough.
There you go.
I mean, today, playing Omar's team, we had a ball. I thought I was on my 9-ball team.
Sorry, we're trying to figure out who they're throwing here. It's taking extra moment here. I'm a little confused. Randy, that was a good job from Christian. It was. Elliot's, I think Elliot got in his head a little bit, but overall it was definitely well played on Christian's part for sure. Dustin, sorry about you, bud. Do you know who's being thrown? Huh? Do you know who's being thrown by chance?
Not yet. I think we've thrown it. I think they're talking about it right now.
Well, we got a young lady at the table.
I'll let you know.
Okay. Thank you, sir. All right. That is Miss Heather. So I think we're waiting to see who's forgive me, I'm going to do these backwards again here. I think we're trying to see who day one-ish is playing.
It's Heather versus Nikki.
Thank you, sir. All right. All right, Miss Nikki, skill level 3. Miss Heather, skill level 3. Nice little 2-2 race. Nothing too crazy here. There we go. Yeah, I was wondering what's going on here. They're taking an extra minute or two here. This is the type of stuff, chat, that gets you thrown into sudden death sooner rather than later here. And I think we started on time at 5, if I remember correctly, which means they only have till 8:45 for sudden death. Pretty sure we started on time here, right at 5 o'clock. I know I started stream up just a couple minutes before it. So, all right, Miss Nikki on the left, Miss Heather on the right here. Skill level 3-3, 2-2 race. Christian getting that good win against Elliott right off the bat here, up 2-0. Elliott did good to get that one right, though. That could have definitely been a 3-0 victory without a doubt. And I still said it, I would have held true as well. If Elliott would have gotten that one more rack against him, that was a victory. That means Christian Angel's plan would have been stomped on quite a bit. Because you expect Christian to get the victory if you do that throw. Like, from Christian Angel's standpoint here, you have zero doubt that it's like Christian's going to get the win here, right? That's the only reason you do that throw against yourself. And on top of it, you're expecting it bare minimal that it has to be at least a 2-0 victory without a doubt. That you're not giving up an extra point over to the other team. So, Miss Jessica, how you doing, my dear? Jess, how you been? Guys, again, just as a quick little reminder here, we are on matchup number 2 of the semifinals. This is to get to the finals here. All teams now are guaranteed into the Jacksonville APA Elite Cup. They'll get to take and participate within that as well. And if they make it into the next round, a win here will guarantee them either entry into the APA Southeast Challenge if they lose and get second place in the overall tournament. Or if they win, obviously they're going to Vegas in August, in which we're less than 2 months out from that, by the way. That's the wild part about this. Or I'm sorry, forgive me. That'd be from 9-ball. Sorry, from 9-ball will be 2 months out. Sorry, I'm getting my dates mixed up. It's in August. So, 2.5 months right now, but it will be good. By the way, Sneaky had a great win earlier. She played Mr. Kingpin himself in the Pirates, and it's so funny because she wasn't too happy with the throw. It was her versus Kingpin. It was in sudden death, in which the other team had to win both, and then they would have played matchup number 5. And her team had a pretty good throw option for matchup number 5, so they were kind of throwing her to kind of see if it could throw off against the higher player. And she even told me, she's like, Tim, I wasn't quite happy about it. I was like, well, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't blame you. It's not fun sometimes, right? Going up against, in your case, from a skill level 3 to a skill level 6. I get it. Those aren't always the fun matches. I said, however, I was like, A, you pulled out the victory. I said, B, sometimes them higher ups are more scared of you than you are of them. It looks like that you should be scared of them more otherwise. I said, I promise you, though, but you ask them. And they know, they're like, well, I got to play perfect. And it's like, yeah, you do. Because if you make that one simple mistake and you scratch on the 8 or something, like, it's over with. Or, in Omar's case, like Omar, it was one small little bare miss, gave ball in hand, and your guy was able to get the 8 ball there.
Yeah.
So it's, it was a great throw, and she felt good after it. So.
Well, Christian came to me and asked me to play that match.
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, if that's what you want to do, buddy. I said, the key to this is we've made it this far, have fun with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he got a little flustered because Omar just about broke and run the first rack.
Yeah.
And I finally, after watching it for a little bit, I called a timeout, and I went up to him and told him, I said, just as I would have told her, look, you've made it this far.
Yep.
Enjoy the game.
Yep. 100%.
Play your game and have fun with it, because at the end of the day, that's what we're here for. Yes, we're in a tournament for a chance to go to Vegas. That is the big win, but the small victory is just enjoy the time that you get to do this. And I know Christian loves the game as well as you. Everybody in this room loves the game, or we wouldn't be doing this,
Mm-hmm.
That was a nice try from her.
Yes, it was. Good attempt from Miss Nikki on that 4-ball top right-hand corner pocket. Miss Heather back to the table here.
And then, my son started this tournament as a 3 and went to a 4 overnight. And he told me, he said, Dad, I'm confused. I said, don't be confused, son.
Yeah. Be proud. Oh, what a slice from Miss Heather. Nicely done. Very impressive.
Nice little push on that.
Ooh, good leave on it.
Left it there.
Yeah. I was worried. I thought it was going to stick to the rail for a second against her. I was like, oh, no. Don't tell me After a beautiful slice like that, you get punished a little bit from the table. That was too nice of a slice.
She's left-handed, too.
Yep, he's done figured out Heather's secrets. Us lefties on the pool table, we're dangerous.
Yes, sir, you are. Because you have to leave y'all different.
Yes, you do. Yep, you sure do.
So I make sure that if I see one of my guys against a lefty, I make sure I point that out to them. Because it's a whole different way of you leaving them.
There's a different defensive shot option, most certainly. Most certainly. We talk about this on the stream all the time, don't we, chat? I tell the infamous story here about the fact that somebody defensed me and said they did it because they knew it would be difficult because I was a lefty. And I got mad and started switch hitting up on them because I'm actually right-handed in everything I do but play pool. I shoot pool left-handed like a Goober Grape here since I want to go against what my normal shooting is of anything or holding anything.
Oh, sweet
Good,
shot.
Karam. Nice done. I'll tell you, it's funny, man. I see people like Miss Nikki here. They underestimate that small package right there and the heart that she has in this game. I'm like, nah, Nikki plays some pool now. Like, if you want to underestimate her, she ain't going to correct you, you know, by no means. And I definitely wouldn't either if I was somebody or if I was her. But she's definitely done a lot of pool. In fact, pulling up right now, according to the online, 681 8-ball matches
She's been playing APA for a couple of days.
Yep, for a couple of days. And of all things, too, in her spring session as well, she's had a really good win percentage in her spring session, playing really hard, which is amazing to see, you know, coming out of the spring session right into this. So she's done really well, for sure. Really, really well.
Nice hit. What really gets me, though, is you watch a match with somebody like Christian, and then you come to the threes, and you're expecting that same level of shooting as a 7 and a 5 just put up, and you have to remind yourself, oh, yeah, they're a little lower ranked, so we got to look for the stuff that is not so dramatic, if you will, because I know once you get to a 5 and above, normally the shots become more dramatic, the shapes become more dramatic, the defenses and stuff. When you drop back down to them 4s and them 3s and the 2s, you're like, well, if they would have just thought about this. And I catch myself having to stop thinking like that when I coach my lower ranked players. I can't go up there and tell them to, hey, put bottom left on this and it'll do this for you, because they're not that caliber of player yet.
Exactly. Yep, you got to break it down to them right.
Nice.
There we go. Heather getting a little low. See her throw of her hand on that. Nicely done. Well, good shape for that 10 ball here, bottom right-hand corner pocket. Bit of an issue, though, for that 14 for her.
Qball's going to have to do some traveling for her.
Yeah, she's going to keep it short and sweet. Now, I don't know if she is familiar and comfortable with the back bank. She can definitely at least attempt to maybe take over that bottom right-hand corner pocket. She could go for a regular bank and at least get it out of there. But no matter what, just don't leave it sitting. There you go.
Get it out in the playing field.
Yeah, get it somewhere else. Because now, even though it's towards the bottom part of the short rail, it's open a little. There's a little more breathing room. Now, I'm not saying Nikki can't go through in defense here, but we are talking about a couple skill 03s, so I don't know how many defensive shots that we're going to end up seeing at the end of this matchup. But you got to think both ladies are probably just playing the play and playing their shots. So.
Even if she didn't try a defense, it ended up being a defensive shot there.
Two-way.
I call that three level SL3 defense.
Yep. Skill level 3 defense, yeah. Like, of course they left me hooked.
And sometimes as a higher ranked player, when you do have to play the lower ranked players, this is what you end up with, and you're like, man, I can't even make that happen, and they're doing it on accident.
Mama Lane said, I saw some low ranks and great defensive battles this weekend. There were a couple that did play some very, very good defensive battles. It's just not something that you expect to see nearly as much as you would. Now, Mama Lane, there was that match earlier that I came over and looked. I forgot who it was. Who was that played the match where you had like, I want to say she had like 24-something defensive shots. I'm not even over-exaggerating. Marked on the paper out of like 42 innings or something like that, 43 innings. I forget what it was, but who played that matchup, Mama Lane? Because like I was sitting there just looking at the regular score for the paper, and I see all these tally marks. She's like, I was tired of doing tally marks. I was like, I don't blame you. Like, that's a lot of like you had to like recalculate how big your tally marks were because there were so many in the little defensive box. Oh man, but that was a battle. I even remember telling Mama Lane, I said I would have loved to have seen that battle. Like, dude, that was defense heaven. Oh my goodness.
I got one of those a couple of Mondays ago. It was just defense, back and forth between me and my opponent.
Yeah.
And I just happened to leave him at just a perfect angle, and
Yep.
he broke everything out for me. And he looked at me and goes, "That's what you were waiting for." I'm like,
Yeah.
We both laughed, and
That's good. He figured that out though. That's smart. That's gaining knowledge.
he goes, "You're not a 5." I said, "No, I'm actually a 3 disguised in a 5's body." And he just looked at me.
What did they just say? I love it.
And,
I love
you
it.
know, because I'm always telling people I'm fat and I'm out of shape, but I can still play pool.
Yeah. That's funny. That was Willie, Mr. Willie Mosconi there, and Mr. Graham Cracker Crust Jackson. I love it. Kit said so many defensive shots. They had to use the back of the paper for me once. That's hilarious. I believe that with you, Kit. Zero doubt in my mind. Kit is a defensive queen. You put her up against somebody that maybe has like the need for it to be a fast-paced match or something like that, she is going to, and she's not a slow shooter. Like some people are just slow shooters. She's not going to annoy them because of that, but she's going to defense them and lock them up. It's so awesome to see. Kit's one of my favorites whenever it comes to like I haven't had a good defensive battle. I had some just straight shoot and pull, just like keep on the gas pedal type situations. And, like those are fun. Like don't get me wrong, but I love the chess battles, man.
Every once in a while, you got to leave checkers and go to chess.
Yes, you do. Yes, you
Every
do.
once in a while, and
It's fun.
I've always been an offensive player.
Yep.
Since I came back to play in pool, I have started really working on my defensive game because it's more the game now than it was back, 20 years ago, if you will.
Yeah, crazy important.
Earlier, I was playing a little side game over here while you were taking your break.
Yeah.
And I defensed the guy, and he looked at me. He goes, "What is that?" I said, "It's a part of the game, bro.
Yeah.
Sorry about your bad luck." He goes, "Well, what are you ranked?" And I said,
Good shot, Nikki.
"I'm ranked a loser today because I didn't win."
Yeah.
He goes, "No, seriously." I said, "I'm a 5." He goes, "No way." He said, "You just ran 6 balls off the table, and then because I missed my setup by, 3/4 of an inch.
Yeah.
So I hooked him.
Yeah.
What was I supposed to do? Let him have a dry table, and here he is a 7, and
People underestimate the 5s when it comes to 8-ball. I see it way too much. I think 5 is one of the most underestimated, and I think it has to do with the fact that there's such a gap between a newer 5 versus a 5 that's knocking on the door, right, of being a 6. And I think there's a huge, there's a couple skill levels that act that way, right? But, like, the 5 range in 8-ball seems to be the one that has the biggest gap, in my opinion. And maybe I'm biased because I'm 5. But it's like you see a newer 5 and you're like, all right, there's a couple of key fundamentals that they should be doing. It's the other 5, you're like, there's no way they're a 5 for a second there at first is what you're thinking. And it's like, no, they definitely are. It's just that they haven't overcome that situation here to get to it. But they are definitely they're knocking on the door. It ain't Amazon. It's me moving up the skill level, So.
But no, that's, my son and I was talking about it. He was just a 3, as you well know. And he goes, "Dad, how do I move up?" I said, "Well, you catch fire like you did last night."
There you go.
I said, "You either
No,
that
Miss
hurt."
Heather. No, she hit it just barely too hard. Or maybe too soft because it didn't bounce back out. But
I don't know.
Anyway.
That looks like it's hooked down behind the 3.
it does. She's just a one-round kick.
Oh, she's going to win one. Did I hear timeout?
Yeah, and I see flags being waved for a shot to be watched.
I
definitely
figured that was coming. But, I've been a 5 for 20-some years.
Yeah, so you closed out whenever you left as a 5.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Yep.
But what really got me is when I came back to play in 9-ball, I
Yeah.
only had like 6 matches in 9-ball. Guess what they ranked me in 9-ball?
What was that?
A 5.
Yeah. Yep.
And I was like, well, normally it takes 10 racks to kind of set your ranking.
Yep. That's why you got to have 10 for this.
Right.
There's people that were asking questions about that too. You need to be an established player. What a hit.
Nice hit.
What a hit. Wow. Well played. Kit, I love your point of view here. Kit on the Facebook side right here says, have you ever watched football, basketball, and any type of professional sports game where they did not play defense? No, you're definitely right. You're 100% right about that. So LQ on the YouTube side said, is this event winner goes to Vegas? This matchup is not that, but this whole event tournament is yes. I hope that makes sense here. We are in the semifinals right now, LQ. And this will be the last stream matchup of tonight. Tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern, we'll come back for the finals. There will be 6 final teams in that, in which 3 will move on to Vegas and 3 will move on to the APA Southeast Challenge. But you're right, Kit. I mean, anything that is a team-based sports event, yes, there's some form of defense at all. And Patricia's saying it absolutely right here. Patricia saying it's, defenses win championships. That's it. Defenses win championships.
Defense is probably the second hardest thing to learn in pool.
Yeah.
And everybody goes, why do you say it's the second? Because learning how to control that rock is probably the hardest thing to really control the rock and understand ball selection, because ball selection can ruin you just as fast as not being able to control the cue ball.
JT, you're 100% right. Darts don't play defense, and somebody clip this just so I can get in trouble with Brandon. Darts isn't a sport. Somebody clip that I said that, please, so Brandon can come and throw something at me here next time I'm at OG Qball. No, darts is definitely a sport here. I don't know if there is a game type in darts that would require some form of a defensive play.
If you play in 301 or 501, you can point your opponent, which would be considered a defense, because then they have to figure out how to get the points back. So there is a way to point people.
Well, JT, you're wrong, sir.
And if you're playing cricket and you close your 20s and they don't have their 20s closed out, any number that you have to close, you can keep hitting that and point them there too.
Okay.
So there is ways.
There is defense in darts. We're both wrong, JT. I just wanted to say it because I knew one of you guys were like, you were like gonna text. Somebody's gonna text Brandon now. They were like, Brandon, you'll never believe what Tim said. And Brandon's gonna be like, what Tim say? He's gonna be like, darts. You said darts is a sport.
Yeah, in cricket, it's more known in cricket when you play cricket, where you have to get 320s and all that mess.
Yep.
But
close out 20s, the 19s.
Matter of fact, in my I used to carry steel darts in my pool bag.
Oh, you want those guys? A little double dipper.
Well, that's been many, many years ago.
Many moons.
I can't see the dartboard now, so I just you don't want to be running across the room because I might dart you.
He's like, go make that 8 on the break now. Shoot.
That's right.
Well, nice little back cut opportunity here for Miss Heather to get this first rack. Had a little, I mean, we talked about it not being as many defensive shots between these two ladies, and I don't know if these were quite intentional, but it kind of worked, at least in a defensive manner with the way this rack has kind of played out with a couple of these. So it's been a good first matchup, a very even matchup between these two ladies, too.
Nice try.
Slice as much.
Personally, I kind of like that. I mean, even though I don't like her missing, but I liked what she attempted there.
Yeah. There are plenty of 2s, 3s, and even a solid amount of 4s, in my opinion, that stray away from back cuts. Back cuts is not in their vocabulary.
And where she was standing on that rail, it's hard to get your body positioned for that reverse cut there, the back cut.
That's a great question. Going back to that shot on the 8 here, Kit's asking you specifically, she said, how would you have coached Heather to shoot this? Great question, Kit. Thank you for that.
Actually, I would have got her square with her cue.
Okay.
In other words, draw her body over so her body is square with her cue.
Yep.
So when she follows through with the shot, she don't glance it, she hits it more direct.
Okay.
You follow what I'm saying?
Yep.
If she was square here, she would have come across the ball instead of into the ball.
Yeah, 100%. I got you. I like that. Great question, by the way. That was a very very good audience question. I like that.
I do too.
That was fun.
But each player also, with that being said, each player is different to coach.
Yeah.
You can give me somebody that's a same rank as me. I take coaching one way, they take it totally opposite of the way I take it.
I talked to Austin about that earlier. He was like, "Hey, my first successful coaching." He was talking about it, and I remember he said the key words to me. He's like, "I told him to hit at lag speed," and I looked at him. I said, "Who's lag though?" He was like, "Oh, good point, Tim Bob." I'm like, "Yeah." I was like, one thing you can do," I said, "because it's always great to have a point of reference, right?" I said, after they lag, I was like, and they may have went top to bottom, right? You look at them, you're like, "Hey, if I talk to you again, I say lag speed, the way you just hit it is lag speed," and have that as a definition for them right now. Now, I know what your expectation is for me with lag speed, right? If you say it to me, most people that are 5s and above, or even 4s and above, you say lag speed, usually you have a knowledge of, like, I'm trying to go from the top rail back down nice and slow and gentle and just touch that bottom short rail, right? We all kind of have that as standardized definition, but when you have some of the lower ranks and they just did lag out of nowhere, and they may have won that lag. It may have went back forth, right? They may have won it. And you tell them lag speed, you're like, "Why did you just crush that into, like, Kingdom Come?" They're like, "But like you said, lag speed." And they're like, "That's not lag speed." They're like, that was the lag I did. What do you mean it's not lag? That is lag speed to them. So
I have a player, I say soft,
yeah.
and I have been worried that the ball was going to come off and hit me in the head. And I'm like, "Do you not know?"
Don't scratch
No,
it.
no,
Don't
no,
scratch
no,
it.
no,
Don't
no,
scratch.
no, no.
Stop.
Hit the-
Pocket
You remember
points.
that roll that I told you
Ooh.
the table had?
Yeah.
It just saved her. That's what ran it into that corner, into the rail there. But then I have one that
Oh,
if I
my.
tell them to hit it soft, the ball moves about 2 inches.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so they don't hit
No,
the rail.
it had to hit the rail. What do you mean? You had to hit it hard enough for it to hit the rail, but not crush it through the rail. And my son, I just tell him in, Mach speeds.
Yeah.
Son, not Mach 9. We need to be at Mach 1, maybe a half a Mach.
My favorite one to say to people is, I'm like, so this one absolutely owes you 6 months back past rent, and absolutely lucky you said something nasty about your mama. And they're like, "Racquetball, spam." And I'm like, this one only owes you 1 month back rent here. Maybe just giving it a little call to let it know and just be like, "Hey, by the way, like, you're a week past. Like, no big deal."
We're
Like,
not-
"Okay, just boop."
Well, with one of my players, he mentioned foosball one night, playing
Yeah.
foosball.
Yep.
I told him, I said, "You're not trying to make a goal from one end to the other. You're just trying to go from about, a third of the way from the goal into the goalie. You ain't got to kill it."
There you go.
And he looked at me and he goes, "Man, it's been 4 years since I played foosball." I'm like, "You made the reference. I was trying to use it
Just
to
work
coach
with
you." And that is something, being a new coach and a new captain, learning how to coach all these different style of players and speed of
Yes.
players, and getting them to understand that no matter what I do, I'm trying to just help them be a better player.
Correct.
And sometimes it's not what you want to do, it's what you got to do.
Yeah.
And on a pool table, I know you've been in the position where I don't want to just lay this ball up, I want to make it.
Yeah.
But due to your opponent's situation, you've got to lay that ball up.
This is going to be very uncomfortable.
I'm uncomfortable watching this one. Here again, that's where the body positioning is hard on that rail to get your body turned. You're lucky you can shoot both hands. People like me can't.
Yep. Yeah, she's got to switch hit this for sure. Like that was a better situation than her using the bridge. I like that far better. So, Kid, I apologize. We missed what you were talking about here. Jim saying a suggestion for that corner shot. So look at it first an angle. It goes in the pockets. That gives you a point of contact to make, especially for newer players. My 2 cents. Yeah, you're talking about the ghost ball. That's what you're talking about. You're talking about using the ghost ball method. Definitely lower players learning ghost ball and learning the mirror trick for the one rail kicks are important. Oh, she played that safety. It didn't quite work out the way she wanted to. I mean, it's got a little space, but you never know, man. That double hit could happen. There's not a lot of space to deal with that.
This is where, me personally, if I was shooting this, I would literally stop that cue ball. I would just kick that 8 to where the 8 moves and my cue ball stays still.
Yeah, a little stop shot.
Because with that little bit of angle, that's just enough to let that cue ball kind of fade into that side pocket there.
Oh yeah. If you follow through for sure. Absolutely, for sure. And, guys, you got to keep in mind, too, high-level tournaments, they only get one timeout per rack. Oh, she hit off just a little bit. Nikki's going to have a similar shot, but have the room for it. Oh, no, it's going to be back that it drifted a little to the left. She's got to be careful of this. That tangent line points right over to that top left-hand corner pocket. Oh, it points right to it. She looks like, it almost looked like from our point of view, granted where the camera is versus her, it almost looked like she was pointing to hit to the right-hand long rail first.
Beautiful shot.
Great shot. Good speed control. Well played, Miss Nikki. Well played.
A lot of people won't shoot that style of shot because of that threat of scratching. And like, you know, I try to tell my players, look, it's Qball speed at that point.
Yeah.
You don't, there again, you don't want to hit it at Mach 9. You want to hit it, you know, at lag speed.
Yeah. LQ was talking about 100%. I'm not saying this is the case, but he hates whenever teams call for a ref when it's not needed. There is sometimes that is a little subjective about it. You know, I think in a lot of things, because yep, I was waiting for him to type it. He typed it. He said it's sharking. Here's the deal, right? In order for sharking to work, right, in order for it to be effective, you have to be phased by it. The one thing you're in control of out of this whole situation is how you react to anything. So even if it is sharking, even if it is the case, and that was their whole goal and situation to it, you working on trying not to overreact to the situation means it didn't work, it doesn't matter, and guess what? They're not going to keep doing it if it ain't working. They're going to get frustrated. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to be like, well, I tried to throw this option at him and try to do this, try to do that, and, you know, it's not going to work. So I'm a huge fan and a huge proponent of taking assumption out of the equation. I don't assume people are out to get me a lot of times here, and because that, did 4 balls hit a rail?
Qball fell.
I know it did, but if 4 balls didn't hit a rail, it swaps who breaks.
Not on a double foul. On a double foul, it
absolutely does.
Double foul, it automatically goes to the other person. Correct. I'm sorry.
I don't think 4 balls hit a rail. I was trying to look again at it. I kind of missed it there, but. Talk about the rule here, guys, by the way, here. 4 balls, so she struck the rack. If 4 balls not hit the rail and she scratched, it would have swapped back and would have been Heather's break. If 4 balls did break or hit the rail and then the scratch, then obviously Heather is doing the right thing here and behind the kitchen sink. And she can go after whatever she wants to from behind there. Goes after the 6th ball with a solid bottom right-hand corner pocket. But, yeah, don't let sharking bother you. If you take intention out of the equation here and don't think that people are out to get you, even if they are, and you're able to work through that mental part of the game, it doesn't work. It frustrates them more, and they were trying to do something. So if they are trying to do it, you know, cheaters love it whenever cheats work, and they hate when they don't. So it's going to frustrate them right on back.
If he goes back and watches my match, I called for a judge in
you
my
called for
match.
a shot on your own shot.
And the reason I done that is because I knew that the 7 ball was going to move further than the object ball that I hit.
Yep.
And golden rule is whatever ball moves furthest is the one that it hit first. And all I did was graze my object ball.
Yeah.
Hence the next shot, poor Matt didn't realize I'd already dropped a stripe, and he shot a stripe.
Yeah.
And I thought he was shooting at the 5. The way he was lined up, I thought he was shooting at the 5 in the side. He hit I think it was the 10 ball down at the far end of the table, and it ended up giving me a ball in hand. But I could have easily given him a ball in hand if I wouldn't have called for that judge, and I wasn't trying to shark. I was just trying to make sure somebody seen what happened.
Ooh, this is going to be tough. Oh, no. Hey,
Nice try.
If you need to, by the way, flip that part up.
Oh.
There you go. Yeah, good try. Good hit from Miss Heather. Nicely done. Now, I will say this is where the tricky part comes in for these lays, and I'm sure they're used to it at this point, playing probably a lot of similar skill levels here, right? It definitely begins to feel daunting. One rack out of nowhere, and magically your opponent's on the hill, in which that does start to bother you a little more, but you can't let that part phase you, and I really have a good expectation from Miss Nikki. I mean, both lays were playing very well within their skill level bracket a little while ago. think overall just trying to keep her head on straight here. Nice little combo. Congratulate her on the great shots here. Definitely good. Kit says, how would you coach Heather to use this grouping to her advantage here? Don't get frustrated is what I would do about racquetball and stuff. I've seen a lot of lower skill levels when stuff's grouped up as much as it is, they will racquetball into something and just be like, where it lies, where it lies. I'm a big fan of trying to tell them to chip away at stuff. So if there's a little bit of a mess, you try to chip away from the outer edges. So like, oh, your solids here, so can you chip away from this one? You still got this one on the outer edge. So that's the ones I want you really worried about.
Beautiful shot.
What a cut. Wow. What would you have done with all the grouping for Miss Heather there, Kit? Because I think the chip away method's kind of the best thing, because you just don't want to give up too much here. Good shots there. See, like I'd still I would make sure Nikki knew that I'd high five her on that. I'd be like, man, I was like, what a run already. That was a brilliant shot in that side pocket. You own that bottom left-hand corner pocket. Keep it up, Nikki. Great job. I would leave it just like that. Because the moment you see her be like, oh, like she's frustrated at rattling that pocket. Little does she know, she owns that pocket. She done bought that bad boy. This is Monopoly, baby. Buy it up and start putting hotels on it. But yeah, that's the way I try to do it here. Do you, anytime that you got a lower ranked player and like right before Heather took that shot with the bridge here and we saw that bigger cluster, is there a way that you try to like teach them how to start working through that cluster? Because I mean, it's a knot, like it's a big knot.
I go from the outside in.
Yeah, same. Yep.
I mean, I'm an outside in kind of player.
Yeah.
If I get where I've got a big knot, I do the same thing. So a lot of what I teach my players is the way I play myself. Might not always be 100% correct, but it's just trying to give them the sight to see, to pick one ball off at a time. Hey, I don't care if you don't make it. If you park it in the corner like she did there, miss close.
Oh, I like that too. Kit's bringing up a good point about a good safety, leaving your cue ball tied up within the cluster bunch. Yeah. And you know what's so funny about that too, Kit? There's this crazy thing as well. Because obviously I just said, you will see it, which I've seen in a higher rank too, but you will see a lot of lower ranks, again, get frustrated from that cluster and racquetball. You may force them by doing that to do the racquetball for you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. And like, hey, like I get it. You know what I mean? Like you're like, well, I really don't want them. No, I want them to do it. I do.
even some of us higher ranked players will try to get under our opponent's skin and let them racquetball it.
Oh, dude, there was I'd never knew this as a strategy and never thought about it, but the person started seeing me get frustrated by how many defensive shots they were taking in a row, and I was sitting there looking, I was like, they have a run, they get these two balls, they have a run. And it wasn't one of those instances where they were like, well, I didn't have the full run, so I didn't want to run out. They started defensing me on purpose to frustrate me further, and realized how much it was frustrating me, which goes back to the sharking situation, what I was talking about. If you don't show the emotion, it ain't working. They're not going to continue with the strategy if that is their way of doing it. It's amazing how it can work good for you.
And you don't realize your opponent is normally sitting somewhere close to you. And if you tell your teammate, hey, it's pissing me off, he keeps sharking me.
Yep.
All he's going to do is he's going to hear that, or his teammate's going to hear him, and it's going to get relayed, and you're going to end up getting sharked even more.
Yep.
Or defensed more. I shouldn't say shark. You're getting defensed more.
Yeah, it's true. I like that too, Kit. Saying it right there. Forcing error is one of my favorite. Yeah. You gotta. It's funny. It wasn't until I want to say last year when I heard that about forced errors. I never heard that terminology. I felt like used in pool before. And everybody's like, "You haven't watched a lot of pool." I was like, "I just haven't seen instances when somebody would have talked about it." To be honest with you, but you try to force an error on their part of like you said before, forcing them to have to break stuff out. Or in this case, like we talked about, Kit saying get in the cluster. And I'm like, yeah, force the racquetball. Like, if there's somebody that gets frustrated easily about having to go after that stuff, they're like, whatever, like use that to your advantage. There's nothing wrong with that.
And I'd be lying if I said I've never rocketed into that cluster myself.
Yeah, we all have.
But as I've matured as a player, I've also taught myself to pick from the outside and slowly work my way into the center, or use my cue ball control ability to pop things out for me.
Yes. Yep, I agree 100%. I like it. Oh.
She definitely owns that 9 ball. That 9 ball is hers for the taking.
Yep. And again, like I said, I know she was frustrated by it, but this goes back to when you're coaching, and again, I know we're using low ranks, but let's use mids as an example as well. I've seen plenty of mids where they look for perfect shape. They're like, I want to get right here. And that comes from when you see the higher ups and they point and you see them kind of disappointed. I promise you, if you look at a higher up and you're like, hey, where are you trying to get? They're going to tell you, I'm trying to get in this zone. I would like to be about right here, but I'm trying to get in this zone. This is an area. So, like, when I'm talking in chat and I'm telling people, I'm like, hey, like, if you shade from the left-hand side pocket up to the top short rail center diamond and you shade upwards, if you're anywhere in that triangle, you're good, right? You got to start looking at your lows and your mids and being like, hey, like, no, you got right. Like, I get that you could have made it easier. I have zero doubt you could have. It being here 3 more inches this way versus this way, easier, right? Yep, easier shot. I'd rather be there. I get it. But if you're not as frustrated by you're backing away a little bit of it, you're like, you're good to go.
Well, I use a dinner plate,
Yeah.
a 10-inch dinner plate.
Ah, there's your zone. I like that.
That's perfect Qball control for me as a dinner plate.
I like that idea.
But it depends on where I'm at on the table. I might pick between them 2 lower dots there on the long rail.
Yeah.
Or I might pick the next 2 dots up or the third dot in the pocket. As long as I'm within that zone,
Dun-dun-dun.
I'm okay.
Yep.
Now, I teach it a little bit different. I teach the big zone, like you're saying, as long as they're from second dot to second dot, they're fine in that corner. You know,
No, you're absolutely right about that here. Kit, the 9-ball did fall. I think it was after the player's turn, though, and because it fell after the player's turn, it gets spotted back up because it fell after everything was said and done. With it happens from time to time, but it is a rule that it gets placed back up and put back where it was. But I do agree, Heather is doing amazing with the shot selection. She's doing really good. And, Jen, I didn't mean to jump over. I know we've kind of jumped subjects a little bit off and on, but Kit is a good coach. That's why I was so disappointed, but I don't blame her. Kit actually took the great strategy of she was playing multiple nights a week here, and Kit, I hope you don't mind me saying this, but she kind of backed away this last session a little bit, not because she doesn't want to play less pool, but she wants to focus on her team for the World Qualifier. And I was like, that's actually like I get it, like there's some smart strategy behind it. You want to be focused on this team and what it is that you guys have to accomplish and go after. So I definitely like that. We talked about that during one of the live streams, actually, very recent here, which I thought was very good.
well, I didn't refelt my table at home because of playing in this.
Yeah.
I've had the felt still under the seat of my truck outside in the parking lot.
Yeah.
And my son said, Dad, when are we going to refelt the table? Well, after we get through these playoffs, then we'll worry about refelting our because why am I going to tear apart my practice table?
No.
You know.
We're going to focus on this. We're gonna do the things we need to do. It's like I told Austin earlier because he's like Tim, I'm ready. I was like, yeah. I was like, make sure, man. This is such a mental game. Such a mental game. So, like, make sure, like, take away the extra stuff from you, right?
Yeah.
Like, if work's like, hey, you want to pick up some extra shifts, if you got to financially, I get it. But if you ain't got to, like, leave it be.
Well,
you know, like, leave those extra things away.
And, you know, like I tell my son all the time, I don't care if you just go out in the shop and shoot for an hour a night.
Yeah.
Go grab your cue, shoot around. I don't care if you just throw the balls on the table. Hey, Dad, let's play a couple racks. One thing I cannot stress to a lower-ranked player enough, if you think league night alone is going to get you better, you're wrong.
Correct.
You got to practice, and more practice.
Yeah.
And up until Thursday this past week, I was playing a minimum of 5 hours a day.
That's huge. Yeah.
And
good shot by Heather. Wow. Nice
yes,
little
it
run.
was. And I have a brand new player that's on my 9-ball team. First time ever playing APA. First time really ever playing 9-ball.
Yeah.
And he goes, why do you do this? And I'm like, because I stepped away from 9-ball because so many people slop 9-ball more so than 8-ball.
Gotcha.
And when we chose to build our 9-ball team, I chose to be as clean of a 9-ball player as I could be.
Yeah.
So I'm teaching him to be that clean player, but understand that defense comes into that.
While we're
just
discussing
wonder
this,
what he's telling her.
well, that's what I was going to say. While we're discussing this chat here, looks like he's trying to have her open up for the wonderful bank shot here. I'm a little surprised. I almost figured that he may try to tell her to play defensive here and get the cue ball up table, to be honest with you. Yeah, there's an option to get that cue ball straight up field from here. And I wonder if that was discussed, if he was like, hey, she told me she feels more comfortable with the bank shot because, there's some of these ladies that can bank like
Look
I'll
at
get out.
that. Look
Hey,
at that.
Banked it so clean. What a shot.
Wow.
Da-da-da, da-da-da. Nice little instant replay from Miss Heather here. Great timeout by Mr. Hogan Hain.
That was one of those
Yes, it
shots
was.
right there.
Yes, it was. Hold on here. Do it again. That was a brilliant
She
swat.
rocked that.
Yeah, and this goes back, since we're on such a huge subject matter about coaching here, this is about you understanding your players, understanding their comfortability with certain shots on different things. And, sometimes it just takes just a quick little conversation of like, hey, like, are you comfortable with this? 'Cause, like, I'm going to tell you what I would do, like what I think the right way is to go. But, like, if you're not going to approach it with confidence, like, it ain't going to matter.
Well,
you
it's
know?
like Christian today when he played.
Yeah.
I told him, I said, the 3-ball will go down in the far corner. And he looked at me and says, I'm more comfortable with the bank.
Yep.
Even though it was a reverse cross cut back in the other corner.
Yep.
I said,
That's a
brother,
tough bank.
if that's where you feel comfortable, I said, you do what you feel comfortable. After he missed, he looked at me and says, maybe I should have listened to you.
Yeah. Hey, that's how they're going to learn, right? Like, that's all of us.
That you never know if you can make it until you try it.
True.
This is just not the place you want to practice it.
Bingo. Bridget saying, great bank. Did she learn that from you, Bridget? Did you over there teaching these ladies that? Randy saying, nice. Yep. Jen saying, great bank. Yeah, that was brilliant. That was beautiful. All right. After the break here, Miss Nikki is back to the tail of both ladies on the hill. Obviously, Nikki needing to get the win here right now. Christian winning the original match 2-0. Nikki can get the win here. It's almost tied right back up. It'll be 3-2 overall in the score here. So very, very important rack for Nikki to keep things in line. If not, it's going to be 4-1 going into matchup number 3. And things are starting to slip away a little bit from you. So
If it gets that way, it kind of looks like mine earlier today.
it starts to feel that way, right?
Yeah.
That match 3 starts to feel that extra pressure. That, let's be real, we're in the World Qualifier. The pressure's already here. You ain't got to add nothing to it. That's like going down New Orleans out of nowhere and be like, I need more spice in that jambalaya. Like, it's in there, shake and bake. You're like, I don't know why you need more to it. It's already there. So.
And at the end of the day, I will say this. Players that have never been to this,
Yeah.
it seems like the pressure is 4 times as hard on them.
Yep.
Because they're concerned about every little thing they do.
Yeah.
Players that have been here before, they just take it with a dose of salt.
Mm-hmm.
And like I told my team today before I played my match, I said, look, I'm going to have fun.
Yeah.
And you are going to see that I am having fun.
That's good, though. That's a great way to captain.
And I think that
Lead by example.
you were an eyewitness to, I was showing people I was having fun. It didn't matter to me where the balls were. Sometimes you just got to take that competition side of it. Yes, you're competing.
Yeah.
We all understand that.
Yep.
Take that and throw it to the wayside and act like you're at the house with a bunch of your buddies having a good time, shooting pool, goofing off.
Yeah.
And little Matt, there he is right there in front of me, he'll tell you, I was acting like a clown, and we enjoyed the match with one another.
Yes.
And if I can't coach anything else, if I can't teach you how to play pool, I can teach you to not let the stress get to your potato. And you can see when you watch some of these players walk up, you look at their face, and they look like they got 60 tons sitting on their shoulders.
They do. They literally do. Yep.
It's because they know that they've got 4, 5, 6 other players looking at them to win their match.
Yep.
And like I tell my team and like I tell my son, I'm very strict on my son about this. Beautiful shot.
She is fierce, man. That is.
That was
Goodness gracious.
a very nice cut into that side pocket there. But good sportsmanship, have fun doing it, and at the end of the day, is if you can walk away from the felt knowing that you played the best you can play,
Yep.
the rest of it's in the history books. You ain't got
Yeah.
to worry about it.
Yeah. Yeah, the rest of it is what it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, good try there on that 6 ball, bottom right-hand corner pocket for Miss Heather. Miss Nikki back to the table, and a little bit of group in here. I mean, you got the 13, 14 ball sitting here close towards the bottom short rail, but lined up kind of off the center diamond. I like that she's already taking a look at those.
Okay,
Ooh, no rail. No rail, ball in hand.
I was actually hoping she was looking at that 13.
Yeah.
You know, to try to get over here to get involved in this of Heather's.
I don't know if they realize it. Yeah, I don't think they caught the fact that there was a no rail situation.
No, they don't.
All right, he's getting the 2 out of that bunch. Smart play.
One ball at a time, get them
Yeah.
out of trouble.
Yeah. Yeah, that kind of, again, I call usually the centers on one diamond up and above and below that side pocket and a line straight across. But still, if you're kind of still center-ish of the table overall, I mean, you just the more pockets that you can look at that ball by itself, and you just look at it and be like, hey, like I can get here and take you to the side. I can get here, take you to the bottom left. I can get here, take you to the top left. Like that 2 ball now has the right-hand side pocket, top right, top left, left side, bottom left, and may or may not be a window, which it looks like there is for the bottom right-hand corner pocket. That 2 has every pocket imaginable to it. Whereas if you look at the 7 and you're Heather coming to the table and you're like, well, if I had ball in hand, we're going to take it. Yeah, like the right-hand side pocket, good luck on that. But you got left-hand side, you got top right. So it's got a little less availability to it. So,
But she just opened the window for that 7, which I can't tell the alignment between the 7 and the 2, but she did open a window for that 7.
using that text to speech.
Oof. Look at that 11-14 down there on the bottom rail.
Yeah, that is. Nikki has got to clear that up and sooner rather than later. I mean, it just. The only thing you can do is if you're on the right-hand side of it, you can at least start working with the 11 or the 14 and 13, I'm sorry. 14 and 11, good Lord. Over to the bottom left-hand corner pocket, but that is a massive issue here.
She just shot the wrong ball.
Who did?
Nikki is
Nikki
solid.
Stripes.
Oh, Nikki's the Stripes?
Yeah,
I'm
that's
sorry.
Nikki coming to the table. Yeah, that was Miss Heather at the table just a second ago. Heather is definitely solids.
So I'm going to ask you, would you do the double kiss on the 11-14 and try to just get them out in the open field?
Yeah, I think so. Just because no matter what, like I would categorize that as it is a my problem situation. I'm not going to foresee my opponent helping me get that loose or it's preventing them from running stuff or anything like that. Like that is like I need to handle that now. That is my business to handle. So. Nope.
Oh, and piled them right back up with other balls.
Heather, I don't know if she realizes she's playing mean pool against Miss Nigga, but she plays a mean pool against Miss Nigga now. I like it.
We call it dirty.
Yeah, them
They're dirty.
She didn't realize them cat claws are out here. No, I'm just kidding. But
I don't know. From the looks of those balls, the claws are out.
yeah, the claws.
Might not have been an intentional claw, but there's
Right.
claws there. I would have loved to have seen her go into that pile to just open them up a little bit.
Well, she because it's only her stuff that's over there, she actually could potentially get a huge favor by hitting into that pile. So I agree with you on that. And especially being below it here, hitting up, she's not worried about the 8s. Really, like there shouldn't be anything that goes messing with the 8 stuff. So there's if Nikki's in the spot again where that Qball's down here as well, I think I agree with you. I think hitting a little firm into that pile
just to kind of
knock it
open
loose.
that pile up a little bit,
Right
like
here?
right here.
Yeah.
I would take
you got the 10.
Well, the 10's makeable, but then you're still in a cluster there. So if this was me, I would tell one of my players, hit that 11 or the 13 ball, excuse me. Hit that 13 and push that 15 and get it on down the field a little bit. Get it out. Because if she would have made that, yes, she's got the 14, but then it's still that little cluster there.
Yep.
Get them out in the open playing field so you have a better opportunity of making a shot with them.
Yeah. 100%.
Because Miss Heather ain't playing jokes here. She's shooting for.
Shooting to get this win. She's shooting really good.
Yes, she is.
She is taking Nikki very seriously here and has been shooting really well. Nikki, got up against her on that and made, both ladies making it hill here, but I don't know. I feel some intensity from Miss Heather on this.
Well, see, I don't know how you do this and other captains do this.
Yeah.
But when my player walks back over to the table, I kind of tell them, look, if the ball does this, look for this to
Correct.
get this open or get that, It's just something that I don't know if I'm right or wrong for doing it, which Miss Nikki just cleared the 15 of that cluster, so. And I think she pulled her claws out a little bit there. Well, that 1-6 might be a decent combination.
Hey, Smitty, how's it going, brother? I was talking about you the other night on, I think it was last night on stream here. I was making a joke. I was like, in Masters, you don't start 9-ball against Smitty. You got to have a bad time. We were talking about that. I don't remember what made me bring it up here, but I was thinking of you the other night, man. I thought it was funny. Great shot from Miss Heather on that here. Good aim here on the 7. I don't think she can get much love for that 1 ball, but honestly, if she can just get it out to the middle of the table again afterwards, I think she'll be doing just fine.
Yikes. That's what I was scared of, is the follow-up.
Yeah, she followed it right on through.
No, Miss Nikki should be taking that 11 ball off that bottom rail right now.
Yep, no matter what, she needs to go for that. I know she's got 2 balls off this top part, but somebody says, don't give away my secrets. People are still going to do it. They're going to think they're better than you at 9-ball, which good luck to them. That's all I'll say about it. I ain't saying there aren't people out there in Jacksonville APA that can't beat you in 9-ball. I happen to be one of them. I'm one of a few that can definitely beat you in 9-ball in a race of 0 to 7. So come to the table, I win. How does that work? Because this game, I win. Feel like the kid from Big Daddy. Give him the kangaroo song. Sorry. Here we go. Get it out of there. Get it out of there. Nicely done.
I think one of my favorite things that APA done with 9-ball, since you were talking about 9-ball, is they went from racks to actually balls counting as points.
Yeah.
It stopped a lot of that slop that I was talking in reference to that I quit playing 9-ball for.
Now,
It took that out of it. Now you have to actually think, oh, well, I got to shoot all these balls off so I can get the points. And a lot of people don't realize that old 9-ball APA, you get somebody to just, what did you call it earlier? They blast into the
racquetball.
Racquetball,
Yeah. Racquetball.
You get some of the older players. That's what they did. They just racquetballed everything in
See what they get
a
lucky
poke
with.
and hope, if you
Yeah.
will. And my son asked me, he said, Dad, why do you hate 9-ball so much? And that's what I explained.
Yeah.
He goes, but it goes by points now.
And you were like, oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I need to get back in this mess.
Yeah. I mean, there again, it comes down to Qball control and the thought. You have to have a thought process to be able to run balls off instead of just rocketing the Qball in there and hoping and poking,
Yep.
And my son, he laughs at me because
Oh, no, Nikki, leave that alone. Sorry.
I
Hate it,
agree.
but she needs to leave. That's a goose for her.
I call them shake balls.
Yeah, exactly. Those are great balls to get back shape wherever you want to, or even just to have one for later on of like, well, I got out of.
If you leave yourself goofy or something on a shot.
I got out weird out of nowhere on this shot now, and I just need something to kind of a pick me up, if you will.
Yes, sir. Me and my son call them quackers.
Quackers, yeah. I call them
They're
goose.
quackers.
The goose. So, well,
Yeah,
Heather here needs to pay attention, by the way, and just slow roll this, because that way, even if she misses and doesn't make that pocket,
Miss
she
close.
just- yeah, miss close. Leave it near.
I like where she left the cue ball. Well, we should have shot it a little softer.
Yeah. Jack said, you're supposed to think in 9-ball. What would be a concept that would slow me down, right? Yeah, Smitty is somebody, by the way, guys. I know I'm picking on him and stuff like that, but in all seriousness, that CJ's Night Masters division that's at OG Qball right now, he's a fun person to go against for sure, and definitely somebody that would give you a run for your money, no matter how good you think you're good at 9-ball. Go up against him, just see how you do. Just have fun. It's a good measuring tool.
Well, that's like Wayne Bernard.
Mm-hmm.
You get Wayne Bernard on fire, and you might as well just prepare to watch somebody play because
Yep.
you're going to just sit there and watch him.
Yep. And I'm going to take in every bit of that knowledge. I'm going to take it right on in. But that's okay.
Oh, beautiful try.
Nick, or Heather, find your wallet because you done got robbed. Honestly, I'm not mad at that because Nikki's doing a great job hanging on this 13 on top of the 8, leaving alone.
That's like the late John Ring, God rest his soul.
Yeah.
He was a heck of a 9-ball player too.
A lot of people saying how much she was loved and adored, and definitely rest in peace, my friend.
Yeah, we actually played his team shortly thereafter.
Yeah.
And a little sad, man.
Yeah.
Push. That helped. That helped Miss Nikki right there.
Yeah, a lot.
Right now, that might have been an unthoughted defense, but a well-needed one.
Fortunate situation for Nikki. All right, she's just playing it short, sweet, safety.
She played the smart ball. She got it off that rail.
Gary, did you like my quote earlier? The kangaroo song. Sorry. Didn't cans are half off. Anywho.
Nice shot. Nice shot. You know, I've noticed something else with lower ranked players.
Yeah, what have you noticed?
When they're on the edge of the
Table, the rails?
when the cue ball's up close to the rail.
Mm-hmm.
Me as a coach, I've started teaching my players how to back their hands up onto the hard wood.
Yep.
So they get a better stroke and a better sight of the cue ball.
Yeah.
Because they like laying their hands up on the top of the rail, and they don't realize they're projecting that cue ball. Every time you jack that cue up, you're changing the trajectory of that cue ball, which ultimately affects your shot.
Yep.
And, you know, you get a lower ranked player, they're like, but I can hit it right here. Yes, you can hit it there, but it's not going to go where you're telling it to go.
Exactly.
And I didn't realize how important bridges were when I was a newer player either. And if you ever, well, you watched me play today, but I changed my bridge so much that it looks like my bridge has got Tourette's because I change it so much.
All right. Dan was called over to watch the hits. Ooh. Hold down the 4 for just a second.
I got
Grab
you,
it.
sir. Nice try, Miss Heather. And if y'all are saying anything on the computer screens, I can't see it because it's too far away and I'm blind, so I apologize.
All right, chat. Did y'all behave while I was gone? You better have now. I'm watching all of y'all.
So what would you tell her to do here?
So she's on the 1 ball. 13 is over there on the right hand, and I'm assuming there's nothing else on the table. Okay, sorry, I had to walk over and take care of the camera for a second. So I'm going to definitely play defense here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the right-hand side of that 1 ball just a little bit, and I'm going to tell her her goal is not to go past the parallel line between the long rails where that 13 ball is, and that way she pushes the 1 closer to that top left-hand corner pocket a little. Qball goes off to the right a little bit. And even if it does get parallel, her ball should block the back bank action that may come as an option here for Miss Nikki. Yeah, he's telling her the same thing. So he's whoop, maybe not. Maybe he's trying to tell her to go a little to the left. So I think he's trying to land the defense where Nikki's not going to be able to see the 13. Yeah, I think that's what he's telling her.
Looks like
Miss Grace, what's up, my dear? Welcome to the stream. Sorry. Yeah, he was trying to get her to hit it to where that 1 was going to pop back off that top short rail. I like the option of still allowing Nikki to see her ball, but getting my object ball closer to my corner pocket.
Yeah, because then you end up in a scenario like this.
Yeah.
Where you got a long rail bank.
Well, you shouldn't bank this. You should defense this again and do very similar. Stay on that left-hand side now of this. And now you really want the 1 to hide, but I'm not going to cross bank it. Slow down, Qball. Got a little below that parallel line. Nikki may be able to work with this here. It's a tough cut. Like, no matter what, it's tough. If she goes for the bank, though, the bank may be an option there, top left-hand corner pocket. If she used bottom, she could pop it. But she opened up opportunity here for Miss Heather. 1 ball right-hand side pocket. Slow it on in there. You'll have shape right there on the 8 bottom right. 1 leads to the 8. But yeah, Grace, how you doing this this wonderful evening? Welcome into the live stream. It's just a matter of she's got to hit this very softly. I like that speed. I like that speed a lot. What a shot.
Yes.
What a shot and a half. Wow.
I like the angle on the 8, so you're not in a chance of following it.
Yep. You shouldn't be force following. Plus, as you said, she's a lefty here, but she's going to do a little stretch on the table. And she's right-handed. Yes, look at her switch it out of, yes, let's go, Miss Heather. Oh, I'm not trying to root for one person over the other to win here, but I love that. Let's go. What an out. What a run.
That was a beautiful out.
What a matchup. Wow. Very well played. All right, Christian's Angels will get their 4th point for the team here. So that did end up going hill overall 2-1. Keep in mind the first matchup here, Mr. Christian got the win 2-0 against Mr. Elliott there, making everything 4-1 now. Christian's Angels is up 2 wins in the race to at least 3 wins here. Of course, 3 wins keeps it where if they get to a tiebreaker, they win and break the tiebreaker. So, but great job. Very proud of Heather on that. Heather. I'm a lefty pool player, but riding everything in life. So yeah, as soon as you that was cool. I had to give her props on that. It was good bank. Heather says, I want to go Vegas. Oh, I love it. I love it. That was a great matchup, though. Again, I don't want anybody there taking away from Miss Nikki. Miss Nikki shot phenomenally here. That was a good, nice, very even matchup between the 2 ladies.
Yes,
good,
it was.
Good one right there. But I couldn't help but to get excited because I am a left-handed pool shooter that is right-handed in everything in life, and Heather seems to be the same concept here. And so when I saw her swap hands instead of using the bridge because of the longer distance, and honestly, it's not that long of a distance shot whenever you swap hands. I think, in my personal opinion, when you're in our boat, and that's what I'm seeing it as, right? It's kind of like seeing a pool player that shoots with classes. It makes me feel like they're, I'm one of them, you know what I mean? And so when I saw her swap over, I was like, I feel from an accuracy standpoint that if you were able to do that, swap hands a little bit, have some control, not a lot, but some, I think there's a higher accuracy for you versus adding the bridge into the equation, adding in an extra XYZ access. Now, Had she had the bridge, she had more enough table there to lay that bridge down.
Well,
and
that's
she could have
true.
eliminated some of the extra wiggle. But that cue ball was so close to the rail. Like, it's
Honestly,
tough.
I think that her decision to be a switch hitter there was the correct decision.
Yeah.
I mean, she played it wonderfully. I mean, earlier she had that beautiful bank into the right-hand side there. I know that I have attempted to go left-handed,
Yeah.
and you might as well say that was not very smart on my behalf, but I have practiced it some since then.
There you go. All right. So that should be Miss Victoria up on the table here, if I saw correctly, for Team Day One-ish. Wait to see who Christian's Angels are throwing. Miss Victoria, skill level 5. So right now, Elliott and Victoria will be thrown, which is 10 skill level points, and then Sneaky will make 13, so they will have 10 skill level points left. They still have the ability to throw Patrina, who is a 3, along with Jules or Dustin, who are a 7. So they still have a low rank and a high rank to fill out matches 4 and 5 here for Day One-ish. So great play. I like the throw of the numbers. And then we'll see what happens here. But with Miss Heather playing, it seems like Christian's Angels, they've already played a 7, they played 3. It seems like they are maybe sticking to the strategy of 7-7-3-3-3. They still have, of course, their 7 and other 3s here to play as well. And right now they're up, so I'd be surprised if they don't cut Victoria with one of their 3s here. It's probably Sheena or John that would come to the table, would be my best guess here.
Well, what really gets me, sometimes making the decision who to put up is hard.
It is. It's tough.
Especially when you have multiple players that are ranked the same.
Yep.
It becomes more mind-boggling of, well, is he shooting better than him today? Or is, you know.
Yeah, you could have 2 3s, and you're like, I know I need to throw one of them, but like, well, which one do I throw? Yeah, I agree with you. It definitely is tough, man. That's one of the tough parts about being a captain, right? It's making those calls and living with the consequences, one with the other.
Some guys don't want to play ladies, and some ladies don't want to really play guys. So you end up in that torment. I've got my one female on my team.
Well,
she said, I don't care who I play as long as they don't smash my head against the wall.
who is it? John? Okay.
And it's, you know, to explain that to a bunch of new players, it is hard to get them to understand that those decisions are hard to make sometimes.
Well, and it's like I was trying to teach a gentleman before that was on my teams that was always, he's like, you know, I'd rather play this one skill level up or this one skill level down, and had all these like extra things about it. I
Beautiful lag.
Yeah, that's almost perfect. I told him, I said, man, I was like, I cannot in any way, shape, or form take in all your requests as a filtration system on when I'm going to throw you. I said, I'm going to get so confused for one. I said, I'm going to annoy you, number 2. And number 3, I was like, you cannot care that much about how much or who your opponent is. Like, you just can't care about it. I said, you care way too much about that. I said, you've got to get over that. And they didn't understand it until they were like, you know, I think I'm going to become a captain. I said, please. I was like, go ahead and become a captain of your own team.
For the love of Jesus,
and
do it.
They called me 2 weeks later. They're like, this is hard. This is a little difficult. I said, it is, isn't it? I said, because everybody has their preferences, this, that, and the other, and everything else to take in consideration. I said, it's tough. I said, 7 other people on the team, man. It gets tough sometimes. It's very tough. So
I had one of my players come to me and say that they thought that their decision-making was better than mine.
Yeah.
I said, okay. So that evening, I put them in charge.
There you go.
And
here are the reins.
I said, have fun.
Yeah, knock yourself out.
And we didn't get to the second match.
Yeah.
What do I do now? You wanted to be the boss. Be the boss.
Mm-hmm. I like what Zach was saying here. He said Day One-ish needs to play a high rank, being down 4-1 on third match. If Christian Angels wins 3-0 here, it's over. You're 100% right, without a doubt. You bringing up a good point about that. I think that's why they still went with Miss Victoria here, skill level 5. So again, they played Elliott's 5. They played now Victoria 5. They played Nikki, who's 3. I don't think they could throw their 7 here though, because they threw their 7. They were going to be throwing blind with their 7, and Christian's Angels. I mean, it's still a 7 versus a 3. That is a 6-2 match, is what that is. So.
And what is our race this time?
Oops, sorry. No, you're right. You're right. I didn't put it up there. My fault. My fault here. Forgive me, Victoria, 5. John, a skill level 3 here. So it's a 4-2. Thank you. I'm not in disagreement with you, Zach, but you're going to cut the legs out from underneath your high-ranked player and may not get to play him at all anyways. Or you may play him and just cut the legs out from underneath him regardless. I think this was the best play based on the situation and whose throw it was that they could do because it was Day One-ish's throw. So, keep in mind, Day One-ish threw Elliott first, and that's what threw us off for the curveball because Christian picked himself against Elliott, not Elliott picking himself against Christian. And that's what kind of threw us for the complete loop there. We were like, wait a minute, like, hold on, who threw first? Are you sure? Or did you tell me backwards? Like,
I was watching this young lady warm up over here on the side table earlier.
yeah.
She's got a very, very pretty stroke.
Yeah, good smooth stroke.
Yeah, her stroke is nice and smooth. Sorry about that.
No, you're good. You're good. You always want to be getting close to the yellow right there is where we want to get, which right now the music's a little quiet, so we can turn ourselves up anyways. Just a little juice there on the mic. Gary says, I think my captains have learned over tries the last 2 weekends to just not play me anytime that it matters. Single-handedly cost my team both tournaments. Gary, you can't wear that on your shoulders, sir. As I told somebody earlier, they're really upset. I watched what happened, and they were not in an impossible predicament, but improbable predicament on what they had to do and pull out for the win for their team. And like, I can't believe I let my team down. And finally somebody looked at them, and they were like, you shouldn't have been in that predicament. I said, the team is what got you into that predicament at this point. And I was like, they're right. I was like, the team got you in that predicament. I was like, you can't wear that on your shoulders. So,
don't ever let a team that puts you in a predicament predict your future.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is don't ever wear it on your sleeve because the best player in here can be beat at any time by the worst player in here. And a medium player can beat a medium player at any time. It's how the balls roll for that particular person. Don't ever wear that on your sleeves because it will affect your game overall if you let it keep bothering you.
I definitely agree 100% what Kit's saying here. That's exactly how I would set this matchup up in John's mind here. He says John can win 1 rack. That's a point. That's good enough. Takes the pressure off him, telling him he doesn't have to win. Just get 1 rack out of the 4. And that's right. That's a great way to set him up for success and kind of express, like, hey, like, cool, she's up 2-0. Like, it's all right. There's still 2 more chances for you to go out. Like, that's the way you can really express that. But no, talking about, any player can be any player. We just saw the matchup happen twice because of the different teams people were on, to where in the sudden death, to where it came down to only needing 1 rack. It was the first rack of sudden death, to where Melissa Mustafa played Logan Lane. Melissa's a 5, Logan's a 7. If you did not know them on a normal day of the week, right, I just said, hey, 7 versus 5, sudden death, who do you think's going to win? A lot of people, I'm not saying you should or shouldn't, one or the other, keep the people out of your head for a second, chat, but a lot of people would say the 7's going to beat the 5 a majority of the time. And I would say, okay, cool, I hear you. I don't blame you. And knowing the people, you might even say that, okay, yeah, Melissa's a tough cookie now. Melissa actually beat him in that matchup the first time around. Now, second time around, he still got her, right? But that first time around, Melissa got him. And so it's like you said, sometimes roles go a certain way. Sometimes you have people like Melissa, Kit being involved here as one of the ladies that can be very defensive-oriented, right? Like, I like to think of myself as a decent 5. I like to think I'm a solid, I'm not on the high end, I'm not on the low end, I'm kind of a solid 5 overall. Like, I got some things in the 5 range that I feel I need to work on. But I got a grip on a lot of the concepts, I think. And Melissa scares me. from a 5 versus a 5, like, that is a matchup that I'll look at, and I'll be very frank with you. And I'm not just, like, sitting here and, like buttering her up, rather. Like, I will be frank with you. I'm going to go in that matchup. I'm going to take it dead serious, because I'm like, I know what she can do. I've seen it on the table. Like, I've seen how fierce she can be, and especially in this deep competition stuff, man, she thrives. There's some people that just flourish like the sun's shining on them out of nowhere, and I'm like, I'm sitting here just shaking my hand. I'm like,
But see, that's like my son. He's one of those players. He plays very well in these tournaments.
Yeah.
When we were playing in the triennials, he come through, he beat a 7. And I know the 7 very well. Mikey walked over to me and he told me, he says, I love your son.
Yeah.
He said he's a 3. He said, but I could not defense him.
Yeah.
He said, no matter what I done, your son made a clean hit and made some beautiful shots to back it up. So they went four racks. Kenny got him the 2 out of the 4, you know. Kenny plays well today. He just come up a couple of balls short, you know. But I've put him in situations where he was our decision maker, you know, if we were going to win or lose. Christian Hubbard plays, you know, very well under pressure. Me, I don't do so well under pressure.
Yeah,
I kind of,
some of us
I
don't
kind of,
yeah. I love what Kit said earlier. She said, we get beat by the worst player in the room. That's what the bar is for. Oh, Lord. Oh, man. I like the setup John has right now on this, by the way. Really, really do. Nice little follow through on this. And then get a, oh, look at that. Even comes off the rail. What a brilliant, I mean, that got great shape for that 13. You use the 13 first. You don't go after the 15 first.
I was going to say he's going the wrong way.
Yeah, I know I've been yammering. I typed something else on my YouTube side here, but do you know if he's used a timeout yet? Do you remember seeing one being used
I
yet?
have not seen one used.
I was going to say, if he, okay, he's kind of doing this like little spinning motion with his finger there. I was wondering. Just saying, hashtag truth. Truth indeed. No, it's great though, man. I think, you know, again, with that matchup to Melissa and Logan, and again, it's not me picking on her. It's not me saying anything bad. Guys, don't take it the wrong way, please. But to know that, like, out of the 2 times they met, she took him down. Logan is definitely a Goliath in our area.
Ooh.
And so to take down somebody like that is brilliant. Is amazing. Like, you need to like, pat on the back, baby, let's go. You know? And so that's why I laugh when people are like, well, I've heard it before. They're not going to win this. And I'm saying, look how, like, are you cooking for Cocoa Puffs? Have you not seen how the table rolls sometimes? Have you not seen how things get laid out of nowhere? Have you not seen people make mistakes? There's so many different variables in that, and you're gonna absolutely bet on one thing being ultimate truth, and that is there's no way this person can beat the other. And you are crazy.
And what you're saying is funny because sometimes a higher ranked player will go, well, I'll use my English and make the cue ball dance and pop this ball out, and that pop out ends up in being a scratch.
Yep.
And now you got the lower ranked player that's got, quote unquote, the breakout they needed, and they get a good little run, and
yeah. Yep. You never know, man. That's why you'll hear me on chat, guys. A lot of times when I say things, I'll say stuff like, hey, like, you know, it's not possible, it's improbable, right? Like your matchup whenever y'all had to win, you know, 3-0 and 3-0, right? Not an impossibility. We've seen the same thing happen on stream before. Improbable, that's tough, right? You got to play perfect against both sets of opponents. But nothing's impossible, and that's why I always laugh whenever people count things out. They're like, yeah. And I'm like, dude, like, the more you assume stuff, I was like, the more you're setting yourself up for complete failure. Doing good, Mike? How you doing?
Doing good.
Mike's still enjoying getting to watch some
Are
of
you
these
enjoying yourself?
matches.
Are you?
oh yeah.
Good job.
This is the time in the tournament now. Everything's rolling. That's they get to finally take a breath. You know,
They get to breathe.
Yeah. Second match is done. That's why, like, last night, he was like, Tim, he's like, you're good going home. I said, no, there's still a match going. I said, I ain't leaving you. He was like, yeah. I was like, no. I said, I'm not leaving you. I'll go. And like, my back was killing me. I shouldn't have done it, but I went and put up the balls, and I deeply regretted it last night. But we won't talk about that. But no, I told him, I was like, I ain't leaving you, man. I was like, you relax for just a second, take a breath that you can. I said, and if I can help you with any prep work for tomorrow, that way we're set up for success, let's go. Let's see.
The only thing I would do here, instead of stretching like that, I would back that cue ball up a little bit more. Not so much because I needed my cue ball to do what he just got his cue ball to do.
Yeah.
But to make it more of a comfortable shot.
Correct.
Sometimes
Shouldn't be using a bridge while you got ball in hand.
12 inches of extra green is a lot better on your comfort. And if you take a comfortable shot, your cue ball is going to react a little cleaner for you. I mean, he got a beautiful shot here, a beautiful leave.
comfortable shot is like along the same lines as a confident shot, right? If you can be more comfortable, it thus automatically builds your confidence in the shot. And hey, if you believe you're going to do it, you can make it happen. If you automatically go to that table and you're uncomfortable or you're not confident in the shot, let me know how many times you make that shot. I don't care if it's normal one you should make. Let me know how many times you make it. Yeah, you're betting maybe 20% of the time. Like you're just not doing good. Michelle said, I've seen a 2 beat a 7 because he was so mad about 2 was up against him. Yeah. Oh, yeah. One of my favorite wins, I think, and I keep maybe misquoting this, but I'm pretty sure I was a 3, and the gentleman I played against was a 6. And I felt so intimidated. It was a 9-ball, so I needed my 25 points to his 46. And I ended up getting my win. And he shook my hand later on afterwards and stuff. But, like, I was so intimidated. I literally went to it at first thinking I couldn't win. And my captain looked at me. He's like, dude, he's like, he's more scared of you than you are of him. And I'm like, there's no way. And, like, I looked over, and, like, I saw him just miss something. And it was just barely. Like, it was barely off on it. And then he's just like, oh, man. Like, seemed like get upset a little bit about it. I'm like, he is worried about it. Oh, my gosh. He's worried about this match. And, like, as soon as I saw that, my confidence went through the roof. I felt like
you felt like you could shoot with the wrong end of the cue and win.
Yeah. I was sitting there. I was like, I felt like somebody whispered in Goliath's ear, and they were like, by the way, he's good with a slingshot and can like pierce through the rock of a mountain. And you're like, he do what? And you're like, yeah, you're in trouble. Like I saw Goliath tremble for a second. I was like, oh, I got a chance, baby. Let's go.
But
oh man,
you know, I had a 7 on my 9-ball team.
Yeah.
That has now been moved down. I couldn't help it. They ended up against a 4, and it was a rocket ball shooter.
Yeah.
And I could not apologize enough.
Yeah.
And she looked at me and told me, she said, look, you had no control over what just happened.
Yeah, exactly.
She said, we all know that we call them slam shots.
Uh-oh. Hold on here.
I would be pushing that ball down here.
Yeah.
Me.
He's shooting over the 5 and 2 now, so he's elevated a little bit. Oh, boy. He's off. Okay. All right. He's still in an okay window. He can work with it. Valerie over there on chat saying, come on, Vicky. Indeed, by the way, Miss Vicky. Christian comes over here, throwing up his hands. It's your brother. I don't want to hear nothing. Huh? So Christian's explained to us that his nerves are getting him. That is Christian Daniels' brother. This is his first tournament ever, so this is a real big deal here for John. So no, I will say, by the way,
that always happens, brother.
Huge shout out to Miss Vicky. Miss Vicky gave out these purple ribbons for epilepsy awareness here. Unfortunately, Miss Vicky did lose her sister, if I understand correctly. Your chat, correct me if I'm wrong, earlier this year. So definitely give Miss Vicky some love and support during this matchup because she deserves it. But John just nailed that 8-ball.
Yes, he did.
Oh, my Lanta.
And according to what we were just told, that's his first 8-ball ever in competition tournament style.
Yeah, yep, that's his first 8-ball all weekend long. Wow. Things just got crazy tough here for Miss Vicky. And what Zach was talking about earlier may come to fruition here. He said he can possibly lose without playing a high rank at all. Wow, I can't believe he shot that. So, I mean, you couldn't tell me he wasn't confident, was having a rough weekend. Not on that shot.
No.
Man. I mean, I got to give it to him. Congrats.
Hey.
Out of a time for you to make your first 8-ball here in this tournament, semifinals
First tournament,
yep.
Playing a higher ranked player.
Yep.
Left yourself kind of hard with a lot of green to shoot.
Lot, yeah.
And to clear the ball like that,
yep.
You got to give him all the credit in the world.
Yeah, definitely.
And she's not a bad shot. I've watched her play enough in the last 2 days. She's a heck of a shot.
Yep. Yeah, Jen, that's what it was. I thought it was this year, but then I started questioning myself here. LQ on the YouTube side asking, what are these two people's handicaps here? What are their ranks here? John is a skill level 3, and then Miss Vicky is a skill level 5.
I got to give it to him. That was
It was
a
nice.
nice out.
Yeah.
I would have played that totally different. I would have ran that 13 down
I
here.
would have too. I would have too. It would have just. I'm afraid with where he was going. I thought he was going to be left on the rail, and so now you're shooting over the rail. You got a long distance shot. So yeah.
Well, you had him shooting over a ball, possibility of leaving himself dead into the rail.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a lot of things there that he overcame, and then made a beautiful shot to end it.
I like that. What Kit said about how good of a player Victoria is. Qball got some movement, baby. Said she can come back for this, and when she does, she should get a zombie. LQ's right. He said that John shot that 8-ball like he was a skill level 5. I agree 100%. He shot that with great confidence. And again, what Christian was just telling us, if I thought Christian was somebody that I was like, I don't know who this guy is, so I don't trust what he's saying, I'd been like, he's a darn liar. With the way he just shot that, I'd be like, you're a darn liar. There ain't no chance that was his first ball in this tournament. He's been shooting this like guy woke up and ate his Wheaties, like guaranteed.
I'll be the first one to say if you would have told me it was a 3, I would have told you were a liar.
Yeah.
You know,
Just
but
on
then
that one
again-
shot alone. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But then again, people have done that with my son, so I have seen it happen
Yep.
in other circumstances.
I love it. What a shot. Wow. Just to think, too, here to get his team into the finals here. He could win this match.
And if what I like about the way John's playing, he's not rushing to the table and taking shots. He's taking the time. He's looking around. He's playing like a higher skilled level player than he is, because a lot of threes don't take the time to look around.
Yeah.
Look at that
4-1.
combo.
Oh, very good. Good shot here by John. Nicely done.
He now owns the pocket for the time being,
Yes, he does.
and there is a stripe laying down there against it. So.
Yep.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
wow. Hitting to the bottom pocket point of that side pocket first.
She's just been getting some bad rolls the last
Yeah.
game and this one so far. I mean,
She's got control. Well,
She's
most
got
of
control.
both side pockets.
Yeah.
So
But-
that part's a plus. But yeah, you're right, man.
that's not the first ball that she's, cornered like that.
Yeah. Kid, I'm not surprised. Kid said on the Facebook side, said, I've watched John this session. He's a bundle of nerves and afraid to mess up. I'm not surprised. You got your brother here, who's Christian Daniels. People know him around the pool community here. They know how good of a player he is. So you're going to wear some of that weight on your shoulders because they're going to be like, oh, your brother's really good. You must be good, too. And I guarantee that's probably been said to him multiple times. And, he's probably like, yeah, sure.
John
great.
just hooked himself real bad behind that 15.
Yes, he did. But I'm sure he's probably had to deal with that and overcome that situation, which can be a lot to bear. That can be a lot to bear. So,
I've never had to deal with that
Yeah.
myself, but I can only imagine that does take a little toll on you.
yeah.
I
mentally.
mean, I know that, quote unquote, my son sometimes thinks that, he's got to shoot to my level. And like I
Yeah.
tell him, you're not at my level yet. Don't try to do what I do.
Yep.
But I love to watch him do it.
Yeah.
I know that sounds kind of,
Well, no, you don't want him to do it because you don't want him to fail, but you want him to do it because you want him to try new things because the only way he's
Yeah.
going to get better is by trying new things.
and I mean, he got a little offended because they pushed him up last night. And I told him, I said, son, take it as a compliment, move forward.
Yeah.
Just like John here. If John was to blast her out of the water and they moved him up, I hope he takes it as a compliment, not as a downer.
Keep in mind, by the way, guys, Mike Kelly does not move people up here, and I'm not trying to discredit you here. I've just heard it a couple times this weekend. Keep in mind that your skill level, and the way you're shooting is what moves you up, ladies and gentlemen, here. Well, wide ball in hand, either he did it as a defensive shot. I know we were kind of chit-chatting. I was looking over at something else on the other table matches that are going on. But he either did it as a defensive shot and didn't want to move anything, or he more likely probably made a mishap and clicked on the key ball just a little bit. So Zach said, yep, Zach's saying here about his point here. Said, can't say I didn't call it 7 versus 3 is a 6-2 race. 5 versus 2 is a 4-2 race rather than have a 6-2 race because knowing they can win with 3-0 at least I played the best player on my team. I'm not to an extent disagreeing with you. No, I am disagreeing with you. I still would have played it this way. 100% would have played it this way, without a doubt. I would have still done it. They have got, no matter what, and granted, Day One has just put themselves in this boat here because of the success that Christian's Angels had and Christian had right off the bat. But it all is because the two matches were played and won by Christian's Angels. But Elliott knows that he needs to save Jules or save Dustin to go up against Mr. Hogan Hain. Hogan Hain is what's like, you know who their player is on their team that they still got left. You know what's waiting in the midst for you. So I think under a normal rule of thumb, I'm not in disagreement with you. And I said it even last night. You don't play your battle and leave the best player on your team on the bench. But I think all you're doing is robbing Peter to pay Paul. I think you're biding your time for match 4 to then hope and pray for match 5. And I'm not saying you won't have a prayer in match 5, but the odds are stacked against you anyway. So it's a matter of, are the odds stacked against you match 4, or are they stacked against you match 5? I think you play it this way, and no matter what, you're still hoping and praying. Like, if we can at least agree upon that, Zach, you're hoping and praying a little bit that you get to match 5, right? So you're trying to get there. Or match 4, forgive me from this. But I like this throw, right? Like, I have confidence, especially, if Day One even remotely had a clue about John being the bundle of nerves that he is and stuff, and what Christian was telling us, which they may have already known based on what's been talked about this weekend and everything. Like, we all talk in this pool hall. But
no, we don't talk in the pool hall about other players. Come on now.
We definitely, this pool hall gossips.
I walk around just to see what other players are doing.
But to an extent, though, like I said, I'm not in full disagreement with you, Zach. I love your face nonetheless, Mr. Zach, a.k.a. Daddy Burgess, here with the cute little baby Burgess and sweet mama Asenet there. But I don't know. They were up a creek. They were already up a creek without a paddle. That's the predicament they were in. I get why you're saying what you're saying, but I think you're robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Zach, by the way, tell your mom I said hi, man. I forgot to tell your dad today to tell mom hi.
Are you good for just a second?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. I'll be right back. Do you need anything? Are you good?
No, I'm good, brother.
Be right back.
Appreciate you, Zach. Did I read wrong, or are you expecting another Bambino coming in the house? Starting to play a little defense now. I got you, brother. I must have misread what I read the other day, so. God, I hope that baby takes after its mama, though. Nice shot. Oh, just a little bit. John very well could pull this off right here. And there's the start of it. Very nice shot. She's got her work cut out for her if she's going to come back from this. He's got 3 balls, and all 3 of them are in the pockets, in the corners. No, she doesn't have anything simple. I'll agree with you on that. I mean, but I'm pretty sure that right here is, as long as he comes back out and gets on the backside of that 8, he should seal this up right here. Me personally, I'd use some left-hand English, solid left, but he is a 3, so.
All right. I'm back, sir. How's everything been?
Oh, he's just working his tail off.
Is he on the 8?
Yes, sir. He just ran the 7-3 and then the 1 there.
Is this still the same second rack when I left off on?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. Chrissy, I love that shit. Let's go, Victoria, here. You got this. Angelina will be proud of you, sis. There you go. Give her that love here for sure. She's dealing with those emotions. No, come to find out, Logan was actually on the other side playing across the room a moment ago whenever this throw happened. So they actually could have they could have played this a little differently. It's a little surprising. Because Logan, you can't do the skip rule here in tournament play. So like the skip rule does not apply. By the way, that's another one of them rules. Like as a captain, you need to understand how that skip rule works in the regular league play. Going for the bank. Good try there.
She's got a little work to do to come out of this.
Man, I ain't doing any work at all here. I'm coming out with this 11 ball, getting off that rail just a little bit, but not too far away from that pocket.
Yeah, but if she wants to make it out of it, she's going to have a little work to do. I agree with you. I wouldn't do like I did this afternoon and not defense.
Yeah, exactly. Hope you don't mind me standing for just a second here.
You're fine.
Thanks, sir. Just like that. There we go. Still in the diamond zone, chat. Diamond zone. Now that looks like a dead bank. From this point of view, that looks like it's a dead bank straight on down bottom left-hand corner pocket.
That's what he's thinking too.
Yeah, that may be a little dangerous. I like this option because you didn't want to leave your ball too far. Now, granted, he's got a lot of distance to make this happen. But you're about to hear an uproar if he makes this.
I just don't care for how close that cue ball is to that rail and him trying to make this bank.
Yeah, exactly. It does add a little bit of issues, but he's pretty flat on it.
Oh, man.
He's about 2 diamonds away. Not too bad.
But see, that's what ultimately scared me, the cue ball.
Oh.
He didn't have no control of the cue ball because of how close it was to that rail, which he got lucky. I mean,
Zach, you quit wishing the bad juju over here. He says, go for the bank and cashes it. Oh, cash me outside. How about that? All right, 12 ball top left here. Come down just a little bit. 11 ball bottom right. Need to hit this 12 ball solid. Not too firm, but solid in terms of where you hit. Qball's going to drift on downfield just a little bit. This is a tick, tack, and toe. Jules Rivera Jr. himself coming to the table for the timeout. And Chad, do apologize. I was trying to get back over here as soon as possible, but seems like things are going a little tight here across the board for some of these other matches here. We will see how things are finishing up, and before, even if this happens to end here, before the stream is over, I'm going to get you guys at least an update as for the other matches going on. So you're not wrong, Zach. They do love banks at the skill level 3s. Skill level 3s do love banks, man. They love banks all day long. There could be a perfect cut into the corner pocket. They'd be like, can I bank it? I'll bank it. You're like, no, you cut that all day long. Oh, I don't like this.
actually,
she gets it so good, though.
I kind of like that decision, because now she just comes off with a little top right and lets the cue ball fade back out.
She should, yeah, but if she ends up coming up, she's going to go parallel on it and come straight on down on the
she's
8.
hitting left, though.
You don't want to do left here. Yep, that's why.
Because it literally forced that cue ball out, that object ball out of that corner.
Yep. Hey, Brian, how's it going, bud? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing well and blessed. All right, John's going to have another swing at potential closing this out early in 3 for Christian's Angels. If so, it will be a 7-1 victory here in the semifinals. Dave Winish has a lot to say about that and does not want to let that happen. Oh, that's right. What's up, Matt? Sorry. I always get so confused on people's names on YouTube side. But what's up, Mr. Matt? How you doing, sir? It's funny. I don't know if he's still in here, but Kevin Early was in the YouTube side as well earlier, Matt. Well, no matter what, John's already, even if Victoria wins this, John's already done what he needed to do, and that was get that 1 point. He avoids the 3-0, so he took a potential point away from them. His opportunity here. He gained a point for his team, so he did actually twofold here just from needing only 2 in the race.
There it is.
Oh, I thought he had it. It was close. Very, very close. Omar, how's y'all score looking?
We're down 4-3. I just beat Logan 5-1 to make it 3-4.
By the way, y'all can't see it over here, but Omar's arms are twitching, flexing right now. He's bouncing them pectorials right now.
I know, he's making me kind of jealous. I got jelly rolls that bounce. He's got muscles that bounce.
Pulling the right Dwayne Johnson moves over there. That boy happy about getting that win against. That's a strong win, 5-1. Especially after Logan 5-1 Raj earlier. Or no, I'm sorry, that wasn't Logan. That was Christian. Forgive me. Sorry. I definitely just mixed it up. I don't know if Logan played Raj at all in this tournament.
You played Raj's brother yesterday, didn't you?
Yes.
Saqib.
He had me 2-0. I tied it up 2-2. Then he went 4-2, and I won. I ended up grinding it out.
Because y'all played right over there.
Yeah.
That's
That's
a tough
when I got to
matchup.
watch you play.
That was a very tough matchup. All right, good luck, Omar. Keep having fun, bud.
Thank you.
Well, see, I tried to pull Omar earlier when I did my.
Oh, that was the 7 you're trying to pull out? Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to pull him out because
Does he have room to hit this?
he actually overcut it, so all he could see was a slice of it.
Okay. Well, that was a good shot. She needs to defense this right on back.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Look at that Qball sitting right there on that top short rail. The only issue is I have no doubt that because of him being a 3, this kind of what Zach was talking about, he has no fear. That man will absolutely go for a giant one-rail kick shot off this bottom short rail. So that's the only downfall of this. It's the right call to make, but that 8's not far from that pocket and close to the rail. It honestly,
He
may
could
still
do the short rail.
he may go for that instead because that this may, I mean,
That might have opened that little bit of
of
vision.
window, yeah. But I don't know if that's better or not in this case because now you've shown him a different option, in which he may not go for the bottom short rail kick. I feel like if he was forced to go off the bottom short rail, one rail kick, that there are these stupid odds out there in the universe that he is going to make that shot. You know what I mean? Like,
Anytime you put a 3 against a higher ranked player, it seems like the universe plays funny tricks and lets them do it.
Look at this trump card. Oh, I like the short rail bane. Don't get it twisted, Zach. Yeah. So I honestly, it leaking there, I think was a better situation. I think it was.
You know, something I tell all my players, even if you're not trying to make the 8,
Yeah.
mark a pocket anyway.
Anyways, yep. Mark the pocket.
If you're
you can go
gonna
to.
do like where it flared out to the right for him,
Yep.
mark that side pocket just in
Just in
case something
case.
crazy happens.
Yep. Gary said, yeah, bank it back top left. Yeah, I'm a fan of those banks. I like the back banks, so top left-hand corner pocket. But I honestly, like I said, I think that boded well that Victoria didn't lock him up as good as she could have, forcing the one rail kick off the bottom short rail to even see it get a hit. Because I feel like, you know, I mean, even though it's a tough shot for anybody else in the book, I feel like just because of where the odds are and stacked up against her.
She left him wide
Lanta.
open for it.
Oh, my Lanta.
Long stretch though.
It is, well, but he's tall as can be.
Well, that's true.
I mean,
He was flat-footed looking in the camera, and that
Yeah.
camera's up there pretty good.
Yeah, this man, like, stole boxes from the Wheaties factory. He's tall. So, I'm just kidding, by the way. Sorry, John. Much love. Gary said they won theirs because the only 8 ball they didn't get marked was the final one.
I figured he was
Keep in
going to
mind-
reach down there and grab that bridge.
Keep in mind, it is not a timeout. This is a common misconception rules. Look it up on rulesupplayer.com. But it is not a timeout to tell somebody to mark their pockets. You can't tell them what pocket to mark. You can say mark the pocket. That's it. John just got his first victory right there in the semifinals against Miss Victoria. Christian's Angels just won 8-1, or 7-1, forgive me, because I already gave the one team points. Sorry, giving extra points there. 7-1 right there in semifinals in 3 matches. Zach's right. I can't even say he's wrong now. Best player was left on the bench here, Mr. Jules or Mr. Dustin. The skill level 7s never got to come out for Team Day 1-ish, but I think the only reason they were trying to do that was because of the threat of Logan Lane. But, oh, man, that's very, very unfortunate with that situation, to say the least. Guys, give me just 1 second here. Don't go anywhere, but give me just a moment of your time here. Let me see if I can at least get you maybe some updates. As for the other matches here, I will be right back here. All right, guys, before we let you go for the night, I'm going to give you a quick little update as for where everybody at here. So Team Cancel Christmas is currently playing Team Pockets Too Big here. Cancel Christmas going into matchup number 4 is up 4-3 right now in the overall matchup here. That was with Omar getting that last win a moment ago. But Team Cancel Christmas does have 2 wins under their belt. So keep that in mind. They're up 2-1 in overall wins against Pockets Too Big. Right now on matchup number 4, Mr. Justin Lamont is playing Mr. Matthew Cavalion, who we saw on stream a little while ago, which was a good matchup that we got to see here. Team Safety versus Stroke a Genius. Last update has Stroke a Genius up 6-2, forgive me. Jesse Link played Miss Kate there, getting a win overall 6-0 and adding 3-0 to their overall score right this second. So Stroke of Genius currently has, let's see here, all 3 wins. Let's see, Austin won his. So 2 wins to 1 win right now against Team Safety First. So Stroke of Genius is up against Safety First right at this moment. You Chalk Funny versus Victims Advocate. They're in matchup number 3 currently going on right now. Before that matchup, Brett Chandler got the win here against Cheryl Jordan. And overall, they are up 5-1 right this very second here. So You Chalk Funny's up 5-1 against Victims Advocate going into matchup number 3 here. Currently, Sven is playing George Burns. George Burns is down 1-4 in a 5-4 race here. So George still needs 3. Sven needs 1 right this second. Sven being on Team Victims Advocate, so they need that win right there, which right now it's at least in his favor for this point in time. Up last here, AM or PM versus Stroke and Johnson's, sorry, if I can say the words here right. Theirs is very close-knit here. Stroke and Johnson's is up 3-2 to go into matchup number 3. And Caitlin is currently playing right this moment against, Carol, sorry. It's hard to read that handwriting for a second, in which both ladies are 1-1 with the third rack being the deciding factor here. So with that being said, Mike, appreciate you being on the live stream.
Sir.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you so much as well. Guys, this is Tim Jones here on behalf of Jacksonville APA, the home for the Voice of Jacksonville Pool. You guys take care, be blessed, get some rest. As always, I want to be the guy that gets you to enjoy watching Boots again. See y'all tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, for the finale here, chat. 3 teams will be crowned victors here in the finals here, moving on to the wonderful Las Vegas in August at the 8-Ball Pool Player Championships here. And 3 teams, well, they're not going home empty-handed because they will move on to the APA Southeast Challenge. Keep in mind, all teams tonight that made it to this final round here will get to come and enjoy the Elite Cup, baby. $3,000 in hand. One-day fun tournament here to be had. Guys, y'all take care. Have a wonderful and blessed evening. I will talk to y'all later. Bye.
The voice of Jacksonville Pool.